very slow around the double smokes. For me, I fully expect them to go that way. The question is just, what is Jaw playing? Does he go back to the Rays or the Neon as he played in the past? Or do they still want to play the Yoru? Because, well, you know, Teo is pretty much gone. Yoru is still probably one of, if not the most busted agent in the game.
You cannot be scared when you play against PRX. You need to face off against that aggression. And I think that having the Euro and having Jogamo, he knows exactly how to do it. We were seeing it in the video. He stole that trophy for them. And I think that today he might know exactly how to play against them. And also, do not let them get into your head. We also saw PRX taking a little bit more time in that huddle, just having a last final words, because they know how important it is. If G2 are to live to expectations, this is not going to be easy for PRX.
The only thing that should have been said at the end of that huddle, don't let go of the gas. Don't let go of the gas. That's my assessment.
That Team Liquid game in the Swiss stage to qualify here for PRX, honestly, they should have won all 3 maps. They should have won Split, and they should have stomped on map 3. It had to go to OT because they let off the gas, they started making mistakes. They have to show a much more focused showing here if they're to beat a team like G2.
We really hope that they learn from their mistakes, because Mimi, you're saying they should have won. I ended up thinking they could have lost. Yes. They could have lost all of those maps just because they get into their own heads. They know that they can win, and when you get so close to it, you still have to push for the win. You have to be convincing. But if that was the PRX that we had to see in Swiss, if it was going to happen, it had to happen in the past. And now when it comes to playoffs, when you're going up against the best of each region, you have to be prepared.
Here we go. All right, so your answers have been given here. It seems like might be getting Jog on that raise here, right? But we are going to be getting nothing really that different from what we've seen from
now from G2. Remember, it's live now.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay, look at that. Yeah, I'm old, everyone. I'm old.
I think you could just switch Trent 1-for-1 onto the fade, and this comp works perfectly fine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But Jogamo going on the race, that would be a change, right? We're speaking of him just playing the Euro constantly. If we are to see that change, that would be interesting. Still, the hovers, they just want to keep us waiting.
Yeah, potentially. But of course, to what you were saying before about Jogamo on the Rays, I mean, sorry, Jogamo on the Euro, he's also played the Rays plenty of times as well.
Yeah,
too. So he's got that.
It's been his best season.
Yeah, absolutely. But we haven't seen the Rays since Bind was in the map wholesale. So
yeah, good call.
I've mixed it, quite honestly. Leaf is going to lock the fight, but there's no surprises. This guy is one of the best lurk players on that.
Oh, he goes on the
so intelligent, and yeah.
And it is fade.
It's going to be the same thing. There's the fade pivot. Okay, this is pretty much what we thought, right? You're still going to get the double flashes with both the breach and the Yoru. You have tons of line control with that stun and the Omen Paranoia as well. This is just a straight up good comp, and it's honestly a really easy pivot away from the tail.
That's all hilarious though. He kept playing Seho just yeah.
Yeah, we're seeing here an 80% map win.
This is a G2's pick, right? This is a G2's pick. Right? This is a G2's pick, right?
This
is a G2's
I
pick,
thought
right?
was PRX's pick actually.
What?
I believe so.
There's no way
I think
PRX
G2
picked
picked
Split.
Lotus.
There's no way PRX picked Split. Wait, did they pick Split? Oh, did they pick Split? Oh. Oh my god.
Achilles is 10-0 in predictions, by the way.
Yeah, I know. And he picked PRX today.
And he had PRX and Sentinels, yeah.
Yep.
A rematch from Shanghai. G2 going up against PRX. This time, G2 having the selection.
Yeah, I mean, pretty wild to think.
Bro, the music is fucking crazy. I feel like I'm in a John Wick movie.
Opening to Masters that we saw back in Shanghai last year. They also played each other in Champions, where G2 took them down 2-0 in the group stage. So a lot here to prove for PRX. They're a team that looked like they might be cruising into these playoffs in that matchup against Team Liquid, and nearly stumbled at the very, very last moment, but got it together.
Increased stream volume? Bro, the stream is at the highest volume possible. It's loud as fuck.
But only one player on that stage has
what do you mean?
Title at all, and that's Jogamo. So for
bro, I literally have it all the way up on my mixer, and I have it all the way up on stream.
The theme for the event is redemption, is reflection. Divine looking back on that moment, losing
all right.
the trophy to Jogamo once it gets.
Wait, actually, this is a mirror. Oh no, never mind. They have breach. they have their Viper wall set up in a way to match the enemy's Viper wall.
Doesn't matter what map it is.
Mid fight.
Push out,
Trent sees all of them. That's free space towards A. They probably should know.
Be a tiny little tick of
Classic
damage
PRX
taken there.
gamble.
In the meantime,
Yep.
any sight,
That orb is actually
doors
cooked.
open. G2
And
with
and
the
they
orb.
and they have paranoia still.
So much information there.
G2
Yeah.
should win the
Trent's
pistol.
little peek. But now
Ooh, the Viper wall is
PRX,
nice
I
for
like this.
retake.
Yeah, this wall is cool.
Heaven and flood in.
Only plays to come through here for PRX.
Oh my god, they've got him caged up like rats.
HL's not going to be able to find too
Oh.
much damage. Just going to barrel their way down.
Oh my god.
Something behind one is going to get out from Balin. Dogamo responding in kind.
It's lagging. No, fuck.
Damn! Wait, Trent still got it?
God
Without
damn it.
Teo?
God damn it. God damn
What?
it. Wait, hold on.
One back to back, flushed out. Now it's all down to Patman.
My shit buffered.
Top of the spike, the swing.
You're kidding me, I didn't.
Shot G2.
If
Never-
you're too fast forwarded, then you have to double tap spacebar fast. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
If you're too far forward, it'll buffer. So you have to double tap spacebar really quick.
Okay. Got it. I was too far forward. I was too far forward.
And that's going to be something PRX struggled with a bit. You know, just thinking back to their match against Liquid here today. The retakes were a little bit off sometimes.
There you go.
A team that likes
That should work.
flood,
That should
a
work.
team that likes to go in that death ball, and good teams will cut that apart.
All right, now G2's avoiding it. Seeing pretty much everybody aside.
Too far in the future? Yeah.
Situated outside
You
of
can't
A.
go too far in the future or it gets
This has
cooked.
been a
What is
lot
this
of difficult
crosshair?
rounds for PRX.
That shit kind of
on
nice.
this map. Want to just grab the orb
It's like
for
a
sure.
really visible
Look at the
plus.
overwhelm and push forward to find the lead.
Wait, what is this
Just
cluster
get
they're all
Ghost recovered.
using?
Yeah, you see this?
Be the most
Yeah.
impactful of weaponry, which has now been taken away from them, as the sheriff's going to be.
They're
left
matching
on the
crosshairs.
floor.
Ew. Imagine.
Divide does get picked off.
That's a nice find.
I feel like Jogger just using
PRX
the different
wants to-
crosshairs to troll every event.
Yeah, I've seen him
Doing
change
the
crosshairs
most
all the
crosshair.
time.
Sometimes they will, but most teams will just die to the spike here, or at least try to. The real danger player is Leaf. See if PRX is going to be ready for that. Tremendous lurker. Never know when he's going to show up. A little bit of delay with the util.
Yeah, just further cycling them back. Leaf, we'll see if he's going to be able to find another. Let's see if he's going to catch the timing.
Oh, shit.
He does get taken down. He himself can go ahead and upgrade this sheriff now. Trying to play for a couple more ult charges as he swoops around the back here of Ali. Peek coming in. Patman does manage to find it. He's up back kill.
Wait, they're like.
Pushes to the corner, finds Jinx stunned up. Patman
Really
gets
hunting
another
these guys
nice
down.
shot. 4 overall clean kills here for the fate of PRX, but G2
All right.
otherwise leave themselves fairly clean.
2-0, 2-0.
They start 2-0.
As long as they don't get bonus right here.
For G2 so far, just finding the openings, and if they see any space on the map, they're going to immediately take it. They're a hungry team.
Oh.
Patman doing his best.
To me.
Least shocking purchase. As
To me.
least shocking purchase. As
I'll find.
Trent sending out the haunt here to see if he gets any kind of reveal. Is scored forward towards ramp. Not taking any chance of getting caught some sprays. Maybe just TPing back across into main. So after this minor exploration, G2 gonna look to change up a bit.
Yeah, already a little bit too much contact for their liking, and that's a team that is a team that is very diligent about those kind of things. They are so smart about identifying who is where, and understanding what kind of opponent setup they're going to be dealing with, and then looking to find the weaker side. And they seemingly have done so again, but PRX starting to get a little bit wise to this.
Well, getting more there. Otherwise not able to find too much damage. Does get a glimpse, but able to bounce out. Garage and Leaf, okay, does end up getting taken down. Jogamo finds the spot here on the is going to be overwhelmed. Talon arrives from above, sinking with one more kill. Now traded out, but Patman still putting up the heroics, looking to do some more. Stem the bleeding as much as humanly possible. After shock, right of the rope, push over the top. Balin does end up falling the wayside and dink across, but overwhelmed here is Jonah P. PRX will get themselves a win here in the anti-bonus, but they lose out on 3 players.
Yeah, I mean, I think a little bit of lack
light
of
mangwache re.
time cost PRX.
Light
Not
Diwali.
able to figure out how big the push is going to be from G2. I mean, Forsaken, okay, able to win that battle. Gets a second, but Divide gets trapped in a really awkward position where he just doesn't have any outs. They've got the crossfire from up on the rafters and through the box. And then the rest of the team is able to show up just in time. Forsaken going to be on his feet a lot if PRX is doing well. He's been their hype man this event for sure.
Absolutely. Looking to get him a bit entrenched here in Garage. One way now on the setup.
That should give it
Rather,
away.
oh, he's going to push up into this, get up on top of the box, and Valen, I'm not sure if he's gonna read this. Normal Jonah P is forsaken! Hits the transfer on the 2. Jogamo there eats a bit of damage, but is able to go ahead, spare them any further catastrophe.
When Forsaken's done that before, it's been a hold around the corner or in the cubby that Jogamo's looking at. This is the first time we've seen him use that smoke to jump up on top of the box. That is a great changeup from PRX, and it costs G2 dearly.
Player advantage for now going to be there in the hands of Joe. Divide playing closer at Mail going to be spotted. Jinky in the line share damage, but on the re-swing, finds Leap, and now it's all down to Jogamo. Divide. Johnny on the spot, hounds him down, and that is PRX tying things up 2-2.
Now, one of the ways you can disrupt G2 is if you can find the timings when they're thinking about doing their executes, when they're thinking about trying to use some of that util. Forsaken there works his magic. That is absolutely brilliant stuff from him. Divide there, full flash, no problem. Knew right where Jogamo was. And that's a really solid round for PRX.
This is one to be scared of if you are PRX. It's just about full stingers in the hands of G2.
It's just as fearsome as when they have rifles almost.
Something with the Outlaw. Quickly forced off the angle, forced back over in towards the spawn. And Valen is just TPing forward, taking so much space here. He's already into heaven. And he's going to catch them off guard. Runs out of bullets, comes to the classic, still gets some damage in. And Patman cannot find more in ramp. This is exactly what I was just talking about. G2 immediately with a 2-player advantage.
Incredible on Ecos.
Dimensional drift going forward. Forsaken nearly caught on time as the Prowler caught on the wall. There's Leaf's position. Straw goes for the exit. It's the spray and pray, and Forsaken left to his own devices. 1v4 at 46 HP. G2 upping the pace, disrespecting the setups. Taking away this round win. Back in the lead.
And this is one of the hallmarks of championship caliber teams, is that they can win ecos at a pretty high clip. And that's going to be something G2 does very early in this match. Round 5, double headshots there for Trent. Absolutely nasty stuff. Like you said, Valen way ahead of where PRX could expect him to be. That's been something that's been hurting PRX in this event, is they're not quite always aware of negative space, not always quite aware of the possible positions of their opponents. I mean, how many times have we seen them get killed with knives out in their hands? Definitely something they need to shore up. This is a G2 team that is going to try to make you guess where they're going to be coming from. It's going to be a lot on this guy right here, Leaf. He is fearsome, but there's a 3-man stack here for PRX.
Really want to try to get him out of here. Tucks back, drops down. Paranoia going to be sent, but only eats a tiny tick of damage there to the back of the leg. The trap play doesn't come to fruition. Patman now going to be slowly creeping his way through the spawn to try to set up a flank here, but this B site very much open for the taking for G2. Push on the corner though, Forsaken. Reading the plant spot. Finds a headshot on the Trent, delays a little bit further.
Gives you the man advantage too.
Spike planted.
1-1, drop, checked, but there's the timing. Jogamo swinging when it's the worst possible moment there for something. Patman needs his flank to be big, but it is being watched, and it's just gonna be taken down off the rip. Player advantage now here for the side of G2. The push into the smoke, Forsaken able to find one. Jogamo does get eliminated. TP forward, the swing out from Divine, arriving on the Raptors, and finding Jonah P, finding them all. Divine gets the 3K.
PRX gameplay.
We stay tied up at 3-3.
Gameplay.
Forsaken's creativity on the Omen is something else right now. The way he uses this smoke to set himself up to initially delay the plant, give themselves that man advantage.
Curl.
After finding a kill in the smoke, trying to come out of alley, and that sets up Divide for the nice bait and switch. And then Divide from the Raptors.
More.
The elbow down on top of G2. Got some ults to work with though now. You've got a Nightfall. You've got a pin. You're one away from a Rolling Thunder. Close to some big ones. Jing one away from a Showstopper. Something one away from a Dimensional Drift. So lots to work with here for both squads in terms of the ult economy.
Might just be looking to up the pace here once again. Pressure here on the lead. Stay back. Nightfall avoided by something. We'll be hearing the lines here of these players as the Prowler scouts his position. Knows that the Aura State crash either back of sight. He's going to give it down to Valen. With that stinger, just comes away with it. Attempted a pre-fire, but whizzing past the enemy Omen. Omen stays alive. Nightfall now going to be sent. point blank on the rocket, doesn't find value. Jogamo quickly trades it out. Player advantage maintained, but now expounded upon here for PRX. A 2v2 is about to squeeze the corner for Forsaken.
Forsaken!
That is going to be PRX. Once again,
Chale.
being by with a retake as things get chaotic and regaining the lead by 1.
Well, their mechanics are looking really strong right now for PRX. They're flooding together. It didn't work early, but now it's starting to really come together for them. A few kind of off-kilter moments early, and it maybe looks like G2 is going to be able to hold it down. Forsaken, Patman coming together nicely there. Nice swing early from something. Gets doubled up on, but that's okay. That opened up the space for the rest of his team to start controlling the front of the site. Really nicely done. G2, now they want to take a timeout to think about this. I mean, I can't really fault G2 in a lot of these rounds so far. I think they've been doing a lot of things the proper way. They've been finding that open space. They've been getting those plants down in either, you know, fair advantages in terms of everybody has the same number of players, or maybe they lose one. But overall, they're doing a good job of getting the initial line.
low quality वाली है रे सस्ता
all of a sudden have just come alive.
1200
Maybe just tell them, okay, let's slow down. We usually are the ones that dictate the pace.
Amazon
that like to play chaos, that like to flood retake. Hasn't really been seen so much. A lot of that to do with, as you were talking about, the creativity coming through from PRX. Themselves 4-3. That's without Jing being able to find a huge amount of impact. Killers for the moment has been involved in these eliminations with the 4 assists that he has, but that rocket seeming like maybe the best chance for him to get on board in that round.
Oh, for sure. It just was a, you know, kind of an awkward situation there. You know, just trying to play ahead of the rocket, but I think you can give Jing a bit of a pass as long as he kind of steps it up a little bit, because he's been their best player so far in this event. So for sure, not the end of the world. But the bigger thing here for PRX is they came out ahead in that ult economy, and now they can use this Viper's Pit to completely make mid unassailable and stack up over on one side.
Patman just threw the wall, able to find Jogamo. Realistically from G2, how do you try to pivot from here? What does the play look like when you don't have that Yoru to try to cause disruption and chaos on the entry? Valen's shown that he's more than willing to go double TPing forward, but without those added layers, those flashes in behind, it can be a lot more difficult. It seems like they're going to land on trying to push up into this smoke and overwhelm.
You remember the corner he was tucked in last time.
Able to avoid it, the push forward, spots out one trench, just quickly traded back, drops the pit here in mid.
That's bought a ton of open space on the map. Just going to be Forsaken, potentially over on the A side. Patman may be thinking about sliding back over into a 2-2 here for PRX. Haunt to check, doesn't get any contact. G2 still a bit away.
Cycles the smoke out here. Onto the main entry.
30 seconds left.
Trent at the ready, util in hand, trying to send his Paranoia's gonna go flying. A little bit of damage gonna be dealt here by Forsaken. Sends out, the Paranoia connects on the leap, comes up with the kill. He is gonna be stuck in position. Valen will be able to hound him down, but now he is all alone with 5 HP in a dream. Tuck around the corner. The nade going to be sent. Jing will go ahead and get himself on the board. As PRX this time able to avoid the sting around.
Yeah, they read this round really, really nicely. I like using the Viper's Pit right away.
इधर भी 3.9 9 views.
Some of the rounds they've seeded. Here, Patman. Oh my God, this makes a good read. G2 doing a little bit of homework though. The last time that PRX was on this defender side against Team Liquid, that's the corner that Devi was tucked up in when he sent that pit. So they knew where he was going to be at, use that fault line, able to at least trade it out. But everything looking solid. Operator.
Now in play.
Poison's off.
That's where the rounds start to get scary for G2. Something can line value.
Oh, wide swing out here from Devi. Jogamo tagged up. Something on the side. Go ahead and flush out that enemy Viper. Removes the lurk. Brings it into a 4v4.
As soon as he kills Leaf, something's over to the other side of the map. Reads this beautifully.
Scratch out to safety, but can he get on the line in time? That smoke did buy a bit of space, and oh boy, Forsaken, he's got the judge, but they're able to go ahead and take him down. The clone leading the way.
Oh.
Instantaneous with a headshot. Gets Gets rid of the operator. Gets rid of Jing. As he is still absolutely frying. Patman swinging around the back. Jonah P perfectly ready for it, but seemed like he had to read, but able to have the shots. Up now, scooped up here for Jogamo.
Fake teleport.
As Patman will reroute up in towards B Heaven. Trent gonna be the first line that he has to try to cross. Stuck on the angle. There, with the lineup. G2 answering one back, breaking the win streak from PRX, keeping things close.
Yeah, this time PRX tries to go for some early aggression to deny the plant. The judge up front gets denied by the clone. This is a jog round. His Yoru on the biggest of stages is one of the best. He is so tricky to deal with, so smart with the way he uses his util. Frustration there from something. Feels like he probably should have had that. It was a good read on PRX's part in some ways, but just weren't quite coordinated enough that time. Now we got a big 5-man stack for G2. Over on the A side, Jogamo. Dimensional drift.
Second one of the half.
Jing's in trouble.
Spot quite a many few players here. Said Jing in a right position is pushed out of this one. And Jogamo somehow comes away with the kill. Something taken down. Jing just get flushed out. Not before he's able to find one. He should have been dead to rights. Now invested here on the site. Divine Forsaken swooping around from A main versus 4. Now what have we gotten here? Spray just a hair off. Being able to find Jonah P. Check in from Defy. Couple tags, but kill not found. Trent lingering forward. Forsaken trying to get creative with it up and over the top of the screen, but eventually does get found. Jogamo's got the shorty at the ready. Looks like Defy's going to want to try to exit, but he will not be allowed to. G2 take everything from them, and they tie us up at 5-5.
Yeah, such great stuff there. Off the dimensional drift, getting so much information. Yeah, just absolutely brilliant stuff. I mean, Jog there with the shorty too. Doing everything in this round for G2. You give Valen that much information, and he is going to rip you apart. You have the pit for the post plant. Tremendous.
Oh boy.
Still having some fun.
Certainly are.
Where are you?
In a spot where this could end up being a 6-6 half. Launch over the top, Valen. The rest of the team immediately taking a ton of space here at ramp, firmly in their control. 4 players. Position though for the side of PRX. With Defy joining. Things are about to get potentially a bit weird. As okay, Forsaken able to find one with the Sheriff. Something comes away with a kill as well. We find ourselves in a 3v3. As the Nightfall moves up, but this is damn near everyone. Defy a hair off, being able to have the angle. Something spots everyone on the exit. Doesn't have the time to double back to go for a weapon, just trying to intercept.
Just all about timing here for something. You can see Jonah P aware of it.
Being watched by 2. Jonah P swings back of the pillar. Patman now arriving.
Spike planted.
2v3 with just the one rifle between them. Head's gonna be spotted. Patman gets his taken off. Something will collect the weapon. He certainly has his work cut out for him. The silent drop. 2 flashes available to try to utilize. A double stack at backside. On the peak, nothing noted there. Sends a flash, and Jonah P able to turn it, able to find the kill. Team Ace and G2 securing 6.
Yeah, even though the beginning part of this round looks like it's going to be pretty dangerous for G2. We've got the full 5-man stack for PRX. The Nightfall just misses. Defy not able to catch a player on the exit with his Sheriff. G2 looking really good. I love the way that Jonah P is just firmly in control of the flanks. He is perpetually watching what is going on the backside for G2, especially if Leaf's not in position on those lurks. He has really done a good job. Even if he doesn't necessarily win the battles, it's still about having that info and having that awareness. Forsaken actually doesn't TP forward, TP back this time. So a little bit of trickery, trying to confuse G2 about how he's going to play this garage spot.
See Valen looking for it, wary of it.
Yeah, that same smoke cost him dearly. So he's going to be very, very aware of it this time. Looking See if he jumped up on the box. A little bit of spam in mid. That's gonna maybe shift somebody over. No, okay, PRX opts for a different angle.
And something is not on the correct one if the swing comes through. Okay, does send out a shot. Looks like they noted each other. Quick check in towards Vent here from Jogamo on the silent drop. Patman watching and waiting. He's gonna ride that right side rope up though. Continuing steadily. Push for a bit little moment there. Quick peek.
Should be a flash.
And might just feel the back away, but just gonna be the clone. So it does get information. They know that it's being watched. Two players set up here. Inside of B heaven. Divide. Jing. Looking to try to hold this line. Jing able to find one. Blast packs across the way. Gets out towards safety. Paint shells to try to buy some space and some time. If he finds another kill, would be a showstopper online for him, but he's not going to be able to get it. Leaf strikes him down. Patman now having to do everything. They cannot make it happen. 7-5. G2 are out in front of the half.
A little bit of a run there early for PRX, but G2 punching right back with 4 in a row of their own. Really found their groove there as that half wore on.
But already some incredible scenes, some great back and forth between the two teams. G2 out with the lead, but it's a narrow one. We'll see what happens when we come back after halftime. Take a look at the econ report here, sent by Coinbase, as Patman has been doing wonders for the team, but Jogamo on the opposite side, he is running the lobby.
Just shouldn't surprise anybody. Coming into a global event, Jogamo always steps up. He is a big game player, to say the least. And he was tremendous with his Euro utility, on top of having great impact in the fragging department. He is just so smart with the way that he pilots that agent. Then on the other side, something again struggling a bit here on the Yoru. Needs to pick it up, both the duelists for PRX here on this attacker side. This should be their opportunity to start opening things up.
Needs to be, but one of the things that's been very rough for PRX at this tournament has been the pistols.
Yeah.
Haven't been able to get too many of them across the board and dropped the opener here. We'll see now that they shift over onto the attacking side, if they can find an ever important pistol win.
Yeah, this is a very crucial one for them. It would get them right back in the game. Be a nice start to a side of the map that you feel like they should be pretty strong on, but G2's defense always something to be feared. So good at making the right decisions at the right time. Early util dump, but a fault line going to back up the main forces of PRX, but this is just a fact-finding mission, it seems like. No spike in the vicinity, so this is just them trying to set up for a pick. But G2, wise to the game, playing pretty far back, want to give PRX a bit of false comfort. But you've already seen some of the initiator util. And if you go towards this A side, I mean, you've got the flashes, you've got the fades, you've got the breach util, the stuns, everything. So this is going to be tricky.
Bit of damage suffered there on the Patman. Spike still going to be set in mid. Jonah P just going to be backpedaling. And looks like the pivot quickly coming through here from PRX as they try to storm their way across into the B side, but there are still about to be 3 players here to try to greet them. Divide still over in garage. Leaf spotting out one. Hits the headshot into a second. Forsaken will fall. Trent seems to try to bring this one to an end. Might have been a fight back, but Divine out all alone. The spike on the Raptors. Jogamo about to fill that space there in heaven. Has the Sheriff, but it's going to be Jonah P with the Ghost. He's able to take him down. 2 for 2 on the pistols here on split. G2 continuing on.
A lot of players here dropping down into the open arms of G2. There wasn't much util. It's kind of bothering them. See Leaf here on the initial one, gets 2. The second under Forsaken is ridiculous. He had taken 30, down to 34 health. Jonah P there at the end holding the line, but they were just kind of playing back the whole time as G2, just trying to mirror the movements of PRX. And they put themselves in a phenomenal position to take away PRX's map pick. Little cheeky combo there off the rip, but mostly just to take control of the orb. And they will grab it. Devi, Sheriff in mid, looking for an opportunity, but Jonah P not going to give it to him. Valen, Paranoia at the ready.
He's ready to send it. Don't worry, we got you guys here with us. We'll get the game audio back. It's all good. Valen still comes away with 3. He just knows how to make that stinger sing. Push out of the smoke. Forsaken has him dead to rights as Devi able to try to make this a little bit more costly. Tag to 77. Jiggle Peak not going to be spotting much, but here's the Prowler coming his way. You've still got Leaf around the corner with a Judge. Sees not to connect. By considering the flank here for a moment, Jogamo just gets closer and closer to striking.
Just the tremendous patience being shown here by G2. They can wait all day. Spikes down, they know it.
30 more seconds. Noise now made.
30
Jogamo
seconds left.
off the audio cue. Starts closing the gap, getting ever closer here, but it's likely going to be Leaf able to take this one down, and he shall. Some damage dealt, 2 players dead, but G2 close out the anti-eco. Now up 9-5.
All right, this is a very big round for PRX. Do or die, it feels like at this point in the map. Oh, that last little transfer from Valen. Absolutely filthy. Does a ton of damage there. And they just don't ever really clear out the back of sight. Alex is not thrilled with what he sees, but...
I assume, I mean, not seeing a timeout quite just yet. First half was close. Probably wants to see how this bonus goes.
I mean, I think
bonus, rather.
You're fine with 5 on defense for PRX. I think that's why he didn't pull the timeout.
Charges.
If this one doesn't go their way, 100%, there should be a timeout. But once again, a mid-stack, a little bit of a pullback for G2. They're giving up some of this A main space, opting to try to maybe corral PRX at Heaven. One of the problems for PRX is they didn't control A Heaven at all, and it seems like they're not going to again. They're just going to flood the site.
Now, decent spot of control here for PRX. 5v5 retake, getting ready to kick off. It's a little peek in towards ramp here. Very much stacked. 3 players from PRX sitting out through main. Swing out into the open. Patman eating an immense amount of damage. Literally 1 HP remaining on him as something gets taken down by Trent. Patman going to be trying to do his damage. Flash connects. Jing swing on the corner. He's able to collect 2. And gets the 3rd as well. Must just be an attack-sided raise, but Jing comes alive when they need him the most. Tries to mitigate the losses. Still 2 players lost from PRX, but they deny the bonus conversion.
Yeah, PRX able to hang on despite some trickery here from G2. They make it look like they're going to push down ramp. They send a lot of their forces that way, and then double back up towards A Heaven and come from screens in Heaven, and it does actually probably give them a few extra kills there. PRX not quite ready. But ready enough is Jing on the back of sight. Phenomenal there with the Phantom. Bulldog though for Patman.
That's cannon for Devi.
Oh boy, yeah.
Just a Phantom.
The Judge for Leaf. A little bit scary, but I'm gonna try to rely on Jing. Just win some individual duels. A lot more players stacked up this time for G2. to try to deny access. Jonah P with that breach util can be really annoying. Could send some flashes on the jog.
Devi under some pressure, backing away to avoid it as swinging in. Full flash from the clone. Jonah P just holding down M1, spamming through the smoke and screens, trying to see what he can find. And something's going to be taken down. Jogamo finds him right there, point blank, up close and personal. Similar to Devi, will can take it down. Patman trades it back on a 1. Coming to the corner, the swing out. Jing able to find the first, but Leap now striking with the judge.
Face your fear!
It's just Patman and Forsaken all alone now. Just Patman with everything to do. Swing on the corner, finds the first. The Hawk going to be sent. Re-swings, clears out Leap. Prowler at the ready. Trent in front, and Patman is him.
Bro.
His first global stage in his
Edachali.
season. And he pulls off a Red Bull clutch to close the gap down to 2 rounds separating.
What a fight for PRX Patman has been. He is so impactful. A lot of times it's with his util, but now he clutches it out on the fade. He's got a lot of PRX on their feet. And that could be one of those tide turners. He's got 18 kills on the map. Patman is flying.
Hobby leader. Again, into a bit of a half purchase here for G2. Never a freebie when playing against this squad.
No, this is so dangerous.
For the Bucky, a sheriff for Trent. Stinger in hand for Valen, about to make contact against all of these players here in Garage. Prowler, however, does manage to scout him out. Bo needs the bullets, he backs away, Boombot gonna get cleared. Somehow, pretty much no one ends up taking too much damage, just a minor little bit there onto Patman. And with the orb grab, Jing now does have a showstopper online.
Looks like they're gonna commit to this.
Taking the gate crash, trying to get some detail out. Jing finds Jonah P. Sees the wheel there. Top of the Raptors. Pray and prays. Finds one. Nate's gonna go out. Trent already dead. That leaves just Jogamo here with the classic. Dead in something's hand. Flawless round. PRX bring it within touching distance. Just 1 round separating the 2.
This is monstrous for PRX. They're able to fight through a G2 that is pretty well prepared for this hit to come. And you don't use the showstopper either. You're able to get through this round extremely clean. Jing now starting to heat up on those entries. Need those first kills to go his way. A little bit of whiffiness here and there, but I believe, yeah, absolutely. And then on the other side, the yin and yang of PRX.
Yeah. Well, looking like a pacey hit here with the ult that they have, or at least it's going to be for something as he tries to escort things forward. Goes for the exit over at screens and is able to find Trent. Stopper not finding too much of anything there as Jonah P will get flushed out.
Spike down A.
3v2. The advantage. The site opened up here for PRX. Still a late linger from Devi. Slowly creeping his way up mid in towards Vents. Jogamo with just an operator. Needs Leaf to try to do a bit of the heavy lifting here to get them into the site. Leaf himself at risk if Devi just simply turns around. And there's the pre-fire.
Toxin screen down.
Wall to fall, Devi seemingly narrowing down the options. So where his counterpart Viper could be.
Looking for maybe just the full retreat.
Did he spot him? Yes, he has. Cleanup comes through. 3 players surviving. We are tied up 9-9.
Yeah, this is a nice dimensional drift from something. Obviously getting a lot of info, but the way that he tucks himself in at screens catches Trent completely off guard there. Jonah P takes a really nice angle there because he knew the player behind him got revealed by the Haunt. He wasn't going to be expected to be that far forward in that corner. Gets a kill because of it, but after that, PRX now starting to rock and roll. And it's going to be the second time out here for G2 Esports. PRX still going to have both of theirs. So this is going to be interesting. That was the buy round. That was the op being picked up for Jog, taken out of his hands. It's going to be another eco coming up.
Behind that eco, a hell of a lot of ultimates. Rolling Thunder, Pit, Nightfall from the shadows, all at G2's disposal. Plenty to try to utilize here. Let's see if they're going to be able to pull off a little bit more of that thrifty magic off the back of this timeout.
Might have to, because PRX is going to be coming into cycle themselves pretty soon. They'd love to steal this round away from them. PRX is going to have a bit of money to sit on for quite some time here, for at least a couple more rounds to make their buys. The real question is here for G2. What are the change-ups? Do you get aggressive at the mains? Do you try to contest some of those early orbs, some of that early space? Or is it just a, hey, let's make sure we're not trying to take challenges at angles we don't need to, at moments we don't need to. Let's make sure we're waiting for the reinforcements, because that's where they were really hot on their attacker side, is when they were coming in 3-4 strong. PRX would challenge them one at a time. It's going to be an early pit.
To be invested for Seika, fake on the TP.
Just looking to see if he can get a response out of G2, but the discipline from Leaf, very, very good. Jogamo right around the corner with a frenzy. Is that going to be read by PRX? They haven't held this corner yet. It'll be the first time we've seen G2 try to lock down that position.
Footstep gets made. See, for the most part, they're avoiding it for the time being. The Prowlers are going to be committed towards heaven. Jonah P. Step here, now going to be revealed. This Boombot ends up going off. He finds the hit. Jogamo going to be taken down. Divide, able to flush him out. He saw consideration for the Rolling Thunder there for a brief little moment, but it seems like the call comes in. No, it's going to be far too risky, far too costly if we can't convert. So instead, they're going to have to just fight their way back down the ramp. Like they shall. Being dead, leaves a weapon on the floor, potentially recoverable here for G2. Trent's Prowler gets the spot out. Big position noted. Free fire into the smoke. Actually a snap need to adjust. We'll find the remaining players as Patman holds down the ramp. PRX not allowing these half buys to find purchase, to find value. They regain the lead by 1. It's another rifle round with just the pit expended in the previous round.
Yeah, now you're going to have the operator again for Jogamo. PRX didn't even run into his side of the map.
Lined up.
That's huge for Patman. Gets the Nightfall off the back of that too. So it's a really nice pickup there for PRX to buy one away from his ult, so he can get the plant down potentially and get that pit right off the rip. Jog, he's gonna try to snipe there on the ramp, but Toxic Screen was up. Just has to TP out. Meanwhile, PRX actually spreading the map a bit. Not getting too crazy here, just doing a little bit of fact-finding with some of the Fade util. Just kind of trying to decide how exactly they want to navigate this now. Probably really thinking about those other ults that are going up against them with that Rolling Thunder, with that Nightfall.
Face your fear!
Nightfall could just come out, might just see a Rolling Thunder very quickly here in response, and that's exactly what is going to happen. The PRX anticipate this, they hug back. This Prowler on the chase, quickly cleared out. Moment, G2 not fully convinced about this push. Valen lined it up here at backside, sees the TP, but Ching swings the corner and takes him down, keeps Forsaken protected. Divide didn't have the player advantage here for PRX. Jogamo again, the operator. How do you get yourself back into this? And do you commit a Nightfall to try to identify these players' positions? Goes into the peak with a flick. It's just a hair off. Reposition comes through and something in behind them! Double pumps the shorty, survives with 6 HP! PRX get up to 11.
Great awareness here from PRX. Realizing that Valen had TP'd behind the box. He wasn't still behind pillars. And Forsaken getting aggressive there on the Omen. Opening up some space in this reposition from something swap over to his trademark shorty. Gets a 3K, and that is huge for PRX. The coordination today starting to look really good, and Trent, some frustration being shown.
It's one of those moments you don't want to hit tab, you don't want to see how much damage you just dealt. Such a narrow margin of error. Something now, the attack off, striking when you least expect it. Clone to try to lead the way. Jogamo not fooled by that, does manage to quickly trade it back, sends out a flash to the site. It's already being taken here by PRX, who look to get themselves up the map point.
Out in the open with this plant.
Jing looking for a timing perhaps, but ooh, Jonah P with a belter of a headshot there off the Sheriff. He's able to note and deal with that enemy raise. Patman on the push, nearly cut in half. Does manage to stay alive. That brings it now into a 3v3.
World
G2, decent position. Fallon ends up getting taken down. The pit now in play. Just go ahead and try to seal the deal on this. Divide and clip leap there, right in the leg as he goes bounding forward into that pit. Jonah P now, no other recourse but to try to back onto this operator as PRX look to try to chase him down. Forsaken, storming his way through the vents, taps the rope, rides into the top. Jonah P finds the first. Divide wanting to try his luck. Tries to flush him out, but Jonah P won't be able to cut him down to size. Unfortunately, is still only at the halfway point to a Rolling Thunder, but the operator does get saved.
Great opener here for something. Patman using that seize into just an aggressive push. You never expect that. The wild play that you see sometimes from PRX, incredible. And it's 7 in a row on this attacker side. One more to close it out here to take their map pick, to take the opening map of the playoffs here at Masters Toronto.
Immediately the rush forward here, nothing spotted in towards A-Heaven with the dimensional drift. Able to take a note here of Leaf's positioning. Something exiting, teleporting back out to the gate crash. Giacomo holding close, gets pushed away from the angles, the paint shells fly.
But Divide, I think he knows that Giacomo's back there, might have heard the TP. They're bringing the rest of the forces over there. Too much resistance at B.
He's got a decent lurk, and then G2 should be aware that they didn't spot him out.
I don't think they're going to be ready for him on site, though. I think they think he's still at screens.
Trying to line up Jing, unable to find it. Shorty, get a bit of damage in. Knocks him down to 31. Divide here in Heaven, quickly going to be backpedaling. As Giacomo throws on the mask. Nightfall is available. Divide, able to find one. Jonah P going to be taken down. The Fate in position. Sends it out, but it's only going to find the enemy Viper. Leaf, get TP at the back. It's actually Valen arriving here on site. Leaf, as you say, trying to go for this flank. Ends up falling down to 32 HP, but Valen is able to find Divide at the same time. And now the site looking to be in the hands of G2.
Bro.
Something up and over the top, dealt with. It's all on Jing, finds one. Showstopper's gonna be too late. The defuse has already come through. G2 break the win streak. And they persevere as they look for 2 more wins to take us into OT.
Yeah, another big round here for Giacomo with that dimensional drift. Striking at the perfect time and doesn't overcommit. Doesn't find a kill, but that's okay. Still holding this angle, and Forsaken just kind of gets torn between trying to deal with the screen's position or deal with the lurker. And he pays the price for it. Now maybe a timeout.
Not to be seen.
Not to be seen.
Still just rely on the players to sort this themselves.
They've been find those moments, those adaptations. Trying to use Jing a little bit aggressive towards mid. And again, G2 is being very passive at the early parts of these rounds. It's really, how ready are they going to be for Giacomo's forward position with that operator? Haven't seen this yet.
Ducks back to try to avoid the boom bot. Will get spotted. There's with a short. He doesn't necessarily indicate the Yoru, but the flash certainly go ahead and let them know that the operator is going to be in this position. Paranoia sent, dodged. I thought maybe he'd gotten away from it. Either way, they're not able to play off the back of it. Forsaken just TPing up top here for the moment.
This could be a Vents angle here for PRX. They can suss this out. They know that the Yoru's on site. That might be what they want to avoid.
Made out from one angle, sees onto the other. Jonah P still a fault line at the ready. The shorty swap, Forsaken. Not checking this, not ready for it. Gets caught, goes down. Jonah P gets ready to buy, able to go ahead, equalize it. 3v3. Some spam damage on the Trent, puts him to 33 health as the spike now gets planted by Patman.
Not much util for either side. Paranoia for Valen, flash for something.
As everybody committed into the site. Leaf free reign, they're trying to just walk his way down ramp.
Something has to find value in this corner.
It's hit by the Paranoia, but he's not the player at risk. Divide, finding another, but now it is all on something. Knows Leaf's position, knows he's there above, but Leaf seemingly does not have the And this time, OT will not be PRX.
G2
on their map pick of split 13-10.
Yeah, a lot of of adjustments here made in a very short amount of time by PRX on split. They do a great job finding that open space, finding those plants and taking their time.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I sure as hell am entertained, and I'm hoping that this series is going to deliver many more maps just like that. We've got Lotus coming up next, G2's pick, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Do it again. Watch me win. Then watch me do it again.
Hey.
Let me show you how the folks does.
Oh man, I was just getting warmed up.
Spike defused.
I don't really like committing to things. I'm scared. But when Verizon announced that I could lock in a low price for 3 years, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Can you hear me now?
Red Bull gives you wings.
It won't be long before that baby. It won't be long. It won't be long. It's coming.
What a fantastic start for PRX. I'm now joined by their coach, Alex. Now, Alex, that attack side was phenomenal. There's so many great things we can say about it, but from your perspective, what is one thing that made you the happiest seeing that attack side?
Yeah, I think the composure to close out the game, I think that was the most important thing. When we played Team Liquid, we were very, very jittery, nervous. And this time we played together, played composed, they comms very well, and I'm very, very proud of them.
It's nice to see you smile. Good luck on map 2.
And W Gaming gets themselves a W here to kick things off in Toronto during playoffs. What a start between these two teams. Absolute fireworks from start to finish here. But of course, it's going to be PRX who walks away with the victory. And oh boy, that was getting a little heart palpitation.
It's crazy to think about how both of the halves started because PRX managed to close that out only with G2 winning both of the pistols and having a very good understanding of how to play against PRX. They were their own worst enemy in so many occasions, and still, just because of that attack half, they managed to close it out.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of heroics that we've seen across the board. Let's actually start off with our Verizon a high-speed moment from Devi, because we talk about those individuals, Mimi, this is a great example.
And this is what you're talking about, Bayad. Look, they're up in a 5v4 here. No one else is ready for the retake, and something flashes into hell, dies for it, and then this flips out of the control for a second of PRX. It looks like G2 is going to close out this post plant, and then Devi hits 3 lovely shots with some great positioning up in heaven to win out this round. And that was all the story of the first half. PRX finding solid positions, maybe making a mistake or two and losing a player, and still having that individual skill to close things out. But that was a completely different story in my mind once we got to that second half.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was very scared because we saw a Jink that was not present during that first half. The first kill that he got was off of a nade with a combo as well with Patman.
Yeah.
But it was even deeper, so it was not looking good for PRX. Coming out of the Swiss stage, they were the team that was doing the worst in 5v3s. That says a lot about how they lose that kind of like head in the game
Powered
that they
by
are so
AWS.
good at.
But they looked great on this attack side. I think the team fighting looked much
Amazon
improved with
said,
this
Twitch, Amazon said.
Raze composition. The synergy
Twitch.
was on point on those dives on A, and G2 just could not figure out how to hold that
sponsor
side.
करा
They
लगता है
tried to go
यार,
for
इनके
more
पैसे
hard
वाले.
anchor rounds
क्या
towards the
कोण
middle
पैसे
of
ना
that
ना
half.
जास्ती
Towards the
काय.
end, they were going back
थोडं
into
मोठे event
fight, a
चालवायला
lot of
बोलते.
retakes,
पैसे
but
नाही.
PRX showed much better fundamentals, and also, of course, amazing individual play to just win out, pounding a round after round.
Yeah, and one of those individuals, we talked about him briefly,
Secret
right? Making
Lab,
his debut
PCA
here in a
Revolution
global
Police.
event. It's Patman, who just looked unbelievable, really. Whether it was the role that he was doing, which obviously was very effective, handling exactly what he needed to do, but Kukuka, we were seeing the slays come out of this guy, and it was impressive.
I mean, him winning that 1v3 on A, so many of this round started off with him getting that first kill, is not only how comfortable this is, oh, here is the 1v3, how crazy it is in this post-punch, how strong PRX are getting. I think that especially, and speaking about those pistols being won by G2 and the advantage that they have, he was the one keeping PRX in the game until it got to the second half. And I think we also need to talk about the Jogamo versus something, because something was a massive difference when we were speaking about that attack. We were seeing those A hits, especially if Jing is not having a good day. Him and Devi were putting so much pressure onto G2.
Yeah, something did so much work in those A post plants, playing like the deep position, kind of tucked in that corner under health. It's so difficult to deal with. He did really well there. But for Patman, I mean, he's on a team with Jing, with Jing, with
Amazon Prime,
like, big name players who have been the best at like
Yeah.
international events before. And here he is, top
This would be another.
fragment in a first map that ended up being
Are?
super duper close. You couldn't ask for anything better from that new ad.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I mean, you could not have asked for a better start to this one. But of course, the pressure is on for the #1 seed coming out of the Americas. We got G2's Josh RT standing by with Yinsu.
We're heading to G2's map pick next, so I wanted to ask their coach, Josh RT, how much did what happened between PRX and Team Liquid influence you in this map pick? And what is it about PRX's Lotus that you feel like you could exploit?
I think their comp has some weaknesses that we are going to try to exploit, of course. And also, we're always a good Lotus team. So I just look at the relative strength between the two and felt like that's a solid map pick for us.
I can't wait to see it. Good luck.
Hey, and I cannot disagree with that. It always has been a solid map for G2, so they feel confident in that regard. Of course, we'll see what happens here as Lotus is going to be up next on the docket. And then, of course, if necessary, we'll be taking a trip over toward Icebox here. But what do you make of that one, Kukuka? Do you feel like Josh RT's given us some info there? Not much.
I think that he has a great point, right? We do not expect him to be playing the Tejo, but they have a lot of record.
Good point.
In fact, before the composition that they're playing with the Tejo, Before that, when they were running the Viper and the Killjoy, it was against PRX that they played their last map before swapping around. I think that they have a good read. I want to see what they do against that double duelist. Again, if we see a different face of Jing on that attack, that could be a very, very big tell for the side of PRX. But on the other hand, Split could have also been a very good pick for G2. Like, I think that overall, this veto favors them.
Something that I do want to point out, though, is you could really see those, well, the momentum that PRX do lean on, especially in that split game, because that could have gone either way, Mimi.
That's like the whole thing with PRX. Ever since they made that mid-season change, brought Patman in, it has been all momentum for this train thus far, just coasting their way into the playoffs. Agent select up. I expect a very similar thing here from G2. Like, we play the same comp, just sub in either that Sova. Probably the fade is what I would expect.
I mean, there are changes because I expected Leaf to be going onto that Killjoy, but Trent is going to go on the Sova, and Jogima locks in the Neon. We were waiting for this. We want to see, especially with them starting on the attack, the effect that it's going to have with those two initiators behind you.
Despite G2's success this year, Jaw has had one of his lowest individual performance years ever in his career since he's been a player at that international level. That's not because he's been bad. It's because he's been playing Neon, he's been the sacrificial lamb, he's had to be diving into all these different things. But now he gets to play on one of his absolute best agents back in front of an NA crowd to show us what he's got on that Neon.
All right, folks, so let's go ahead and find out how this one all plays out. Can it go the distance? Let's go ahead and send it back over to your casters and jump into map 2. Here's Achilles and Paper Thin.
Thank you very much, GB. I don't know. Toronto, what are you guys thinking? You guys want to see a map 3? All right, we'll see if G2 are going to be able to make it happen, get back into the driver's seat. We saw them in control for so very long on Split, but PRX regained the reins, rode off into the sunset with the win on Split. Let's see what happens as, once again, PRX pistols have not been kind to them.
It looks like it might be a full 4v4 scrap here early.
Turns from the flash, Jarmo on the peak, dead. Jing, off to a significantly hotter start this time around, finds that opening frag, and that is a ton of the entry power out of the hands of G2.
Because you have that Yoru, you're able to quickly pivot over to the other side of the map here to match G2's movement.
Instant damage taken there from Valen, 5 to clean up. Finds it, and something will get overwhelmed, flanked through the site. Poison Orb lobbed in, and on that peak, Devi ends up losing his life. A 3v3. Go from a very strong start into a bit of a lopsided round now for PRX.
Oh my goodness.
Full stars push coming through now for G2.
This is madness, but Forsaken and Patman are lined up.
Cluster together, the swing, Forsaken able to tuck back around the corner. Does get stunned there by the fault line, clear on the recon dart, and they have to re-pivot back. G2 quickly evacuated, breaking down the baby door, but already you've got PRX arrived here at upper. Looking to try to take them down. Leaf gets himself a third, but PRX playing their first pistol here in the playoffs.
लोटस भी जीत जाएंगे
पहला पिस्टल राउंड जीत गया
मेरे
4
It's crazy to think
करना शेयर स्क्रीन
maps are the 2 maps that went to OT the last time they played. So far so good, able to avoid any disasters on Split. And they got the pistol, and that's really got them fired up because they need those. They were still able to win Split without a single pistol, but it's the buy up here for G2. Stingers and a sheriff.
They're looking to nullify this. Just take that pistol away from them. Now, weapons not being fired.
इन लोग का डिफेंडिंग डेंजर है आरुष ने आरुष का लाइन इन लोग का डिफेंडिंग डेंजर है डे शिवा इन लोग का हेमी के क्या है ड्रोन से भी टैग नहीं करवा रहा
ए पहला मैच मेरे को लगा हारेंगे बट भाई क्या लगा
PRX डेंजर है बैटमैन डेंजर खेलता
जिंग खेलने लगा ना सब लोग एड़े समथिंग खेलने लगा ना अकेले
समथिंग डेंजर है भाई
ऐसे काम करते
इन लोग थ्रो करते रहे जानबूझ के है ना 4 सेकंड ये है ना
ये देख ऐसे खेलते हो फुल कॉल पे सेव राउंड में निकाल लेते हैं
अपना कैसा है
प्रो करते रहे लोग
And early on, they had a great plan to get themselves
ये
ahead of the
गुस्सा
curve,
आता
to
है
get
PRX
past
वाले
the
थ्रो
ice
करते
wall, because they TP past it with Valorant and sent another player through.
PRX
So it kind of
मस्ती
keeps
में खेलते हैं
PRX
लोग देखो
guessing a little bit. They have to pause. They have to wait this
ये
out.
देख क्या मार रहे हो RNG स्ट्रिंग
And that just allows
Finger.
you to set up for those late lurks.
बहुत गंदा मारा उसने 2 बार मारा पिछले मैच में भी 3 खाए स्टिंगर से
With
no shield
by Valorant and company. And Jing going to be having the
तो
bucky.
स्टिंगर ही लेना
Sheriffs
पड़ेगा
otherwise. G2 now looking to play their bonus.
इन लोगों का डिफेंस डेंजर है
इनके जैसे अपने 2 बंदे ढूंढना बॉडी अपन की 2 बंदे ढूंढने का
हां स्पॉडी अच्छा खेलता ना तेरे को लगता
नहीं खेलता है अभी क्या करें
Trying to get that rolling thunder.
एम भी नहीं है
एम भी
Charges thus far.
वही ना एम भी नहीं है वो भी नहीं है एबिलिटीज भी अच्छे से नहीं है
Relay bolts. Backpedals and something gets caught up by waterfall.
वो भी नया बंदा है ना
करना फुल स्क्रीन है
By the enemy breach.
फुल स्क्रीन
A little bit
फुल स्क्रीन तो
miscommunication there for PRX.
क्या फुल स्क्रीन
ये
Players trying to make some hero plays.
ये दिख रहा है
That's back towards waterfall. Forsaken.
दिख रहा
Flushed out, and right now G2 are looking to try to make this one a flawless. The swing forward.
हमने आया ऐसा हक देते इधर
Sing.
हाँ
4K for Jonah P. That rolling thunder now just 2 charges away.
नियॉन खेल रहे हैं
G2 gain the lead in flawless fashion.
Yeah, this is just so brilliant from G2. So ready.
वो लोग सेव राउंड देख कैसे मारते हैं वो लोग अपने बंदे को पता था उधर सेव नहीं है उनका सेव है ऐसा मारना चाहिए था
ये डेंजर है ये सब क्रैश आउट कर देता है सीधा ऐसा कुछ चाहिए ऐसा
I think PRX could have done a little bit more damage there if they're a little bit more patient.
एक कोच बन सकते हैं
टाइमर डांगा देख नेक्स्ट
It is what it is. Forsaken
हाँ रे तो
for that Odin once again here on this defender's side.
Our player stack as well.
ओडिन चालू कर दिया
There's a paint shell
उसका ओडिन चालू हो गया
and Jogamo going to be eating a good amount of damage from it.
पूरी चालू कर दिया ना
Just Forsaken. Just looking to further delay. But Jing hits him.
कैसे
ये मर गया ऐसे थ्रो करते हैं देखिए
Get him out into the open. They're able to collect the kill, so they're an advantage now.
कोपचे में था ना
G2.
नया वाला लाइट भी ले लिया रे
On this side of the map, now to maybe pivot.
This is classic G2. Just take your profits and move on. You got that one. You don't need to press your advantage. Just leave to his own devices.
Batman.
Try to win some battles on the extremities. Catman gonna have to clear the drone. Trying.
ये डिस्कॉर्ड के एड़ा बिड़ा हो गया क्या भाई क्या चल रहा है
Challenge into this one.
अटक गया है
Is already rotated across towards C site.
ग्लिच है फिर तू स्टेशन ऑफ कर मैं मेरे स्क्रीन पे देखता
Spray at the ready.
ट्विच पे देख रहा ना तू
Now one away from having that rolling thunder online. He's got the spike in hand. And that's going to be a massive post plant.
अरे हिल रहा ही नहीं ये डिस्कॉर्ड
ऑफ कर दे सेशन ऑफ कर
यार ऐसा फसा तो तू पालता ठेवते तो
fast lane. Now going to let them know.
ओ दो मार दिया
No rolling thunder to be concerned about this round. Let's go up a little bit of a wider swing, but Leaf eventually is able to find the target.
यहाँ पे इधर ही बैठेला
The break of the door. Time starting to dwindle here. Thorns get raised. Look at themselves into the site.
कौन इधर ही बैठेला
Here by the wall, but
नोडी
once Valorant gets taken down. Had to pull up the plant here for a moment. Now is able to stick it, but cannot draw his weapon back out fast enough. PRX with 3 surviving. We'll tie it up at 2-2.
Yeah, I love this little change up of positioning from something. We haven't seen him tuck into that corner quite like that. You know,
लोग माउस एक ना बुलाते ही नहीं तेरे जैसे ही जगह
somewhere over on A more often than not. It doesn't get read by G2. I don't think there's any tape of him doing that. And then it's just great coordination here. Something PRX is going to do.
नहीं जाने वाली फाइनल
G2, you make any mistake.
जेंजी और से जेंजी नहीं तो PRX से सेंटिनल होने वाला फाइनल
And it almost looked like maybe
मैं फैनेटिक भी हो सकती
है रे फैनेटिक गंदा है कोई नहीं खेलता
लोअर ब्रैकेट जाएंगे ना एडे लोअर ब्रैकेट जाएंगे ना
They just kind of play for trades the rest of the way. Something had other ideas. Shows
हारने वाली फैनेटिक जेंजी एड़ा है क्या जेंजी को एड़ा समझ
He's got a rocket. He's fine.
जेंजी अच्छे मालूम
वो लोग गलती ही नहीं करते
Very much getting bullied out by Trap.
थ्रो किया
Trying to
थ्रो नहीं
take some
किया
space here, but losing his head for it. Massive advantage now here for the side of G2.
Oh my God.
तेरा आगे क्या
Swing out.
थ्रो दो मार दे
जॉगे मो
G2 winning on all fronts. Looking to set themselves up with another flawless. His orb could be passed.
तीन मारे
Damn near everybody. You've got so many good choices.
Hi.
Hit the Hunter's Fury, the overdrive. Drone scout spots nothing. No one's home. There's Divine. It's going to be rotating off. The call to save has been made.
Really the right one. Some head scratchers here for PRX. Something going for that. A fair opportunity, but Jogamo really dialed this around. And that two-man push in towards mid.
इन लोगों को फर्क नहीं पड़ता ओडिन कभी भी चालू कर
Just not really reading the map.
मुंबई वाले रोटेट हुए
G2 is going to be rotating in force. So unless you're thinking you can catch Leaf in that spot, that's the only
5 बंदे चाहिए 5 बंदे अपन डेली खेलने चाहिए
decision.
इन लोग मुंबई वाले कैसे खेल पाते मेरे को समझता नहीं इंडिया वाले के साथ इतना अच्छा कैसे खेलते हैं
इसलिए तो इंडिया नहीं है स्क्वाड में जाती है क्वालीफाई नहीं होती एडे लोग हैं इसमें पोटेंशियल नहीं है एक बंदे को नहीं मार पाते इंटरनेशनल टीम के अरे इंटरनेशनल तो इंटरनेशनल अंडरडॉग को भी नहीं हरा पाएंगे
इंडिया के रहेंगे टीम इंडिया के रहेंगे पर लोग बाहर के रहेंगे लोग बाहर के
अरे नहीं उन लोगों ने इतने में इतना पटीले मारेंगे ना मां कसम से बोली में
Really good stuff here from G2.
बहुत पटीले मारते हैं बहुत मतलब
first one being called by PRX now.
इंडिया की टीम रहेंगी पर बाहर के लोग खेलते हैं इंडिया के नहीं खेलेंगे इंडिया के पास देखो रॉसी खेलता उतना एक ही
इसको भी खेलने नहीं आता ना कुछ नहीं आता
हटा बोला टाइम मैं जीतना चाहिए डे उस दिन तो कितना मजा कर रहे थे लिक्विड के सामने भाई
working so well, obviously 11-1 on their defender side, but they would get contact, they'd let him take mound, and then they'd open up the door and swing from 2 angles. They'd let them take B, and they'd collapse on him. They had all these great ideas, but G2 is a very different.
ये डेंजर कोच है बनता सीधा.
They're going to be really diligent at the start of the round. Again,
सेंटिनल्स का भी देख रहा.
And then they're going to start working the map. They're going to look to see what you've left open because you've lost a player.
ये जल्दी खत्म हो तो 11:30 को आ जाएंगे
2 राउंड में खत्म होगा
12 की
क्योंकि ट्रायल नहीं कर ये लोग ट्रायल नहीं करते रहे फिर एक बार जीत गए ना फिर
क्या लगता
अभी थ्रो कर रहे थे
जाएगा तीसरा मैच जाएगा तीसरा
ये लोग थ्रो कर रहे हैं
ना बाद में सीरियस होते हैं वो 4 से कनेक्ट
पहले से अभी पहला मैच दिखा पहला मैच जीता तो अभी थ्रो करने लगे
So at least they can
PUBG थोड़ी एग्रेशन दिखाने
be looking for Guardian going to be bought here for something.
PUBG में एग्रेशन
Everybody else still has enough to get rifles. Obviously the Odin carried over a bunch of ults on both sides.
कौन इन लोग का आईजीएल दवाई
Lots to consider here.
हां वेले नहीं इनका
Both teams.
Ready. और सेकंड है उनका अपने इनका वेले
The call end up looking like able to find a Guardian here for something.
वेले का सा अच्छा वेले
Gone over the top.
We will
spot anything
एक एजेंट मास्टर करने का रे सब लोग जैसे मैं डिविलिश करूंगा
send out the paranoia and some of that fade util
मैं लोग लाइनअप कहां से लाते इन लोग देखते भी नहीं इन लोग खुद के बनाते शायद
दिन भर खेलते कस्टम में जाते इधर उधर मार के देखते रहते समझा क्या सब कुछ नहीं करना है
पर याद भी रहते ना इन लोग को याद
दिन भर का वही काम है उनका
noted, identified a little bit here behind the wall. Will get spotted, but that's about all that's going to be gained here from the dimensional drift. Like little exit from something.
आज में और 2 बंदे ढूंढ नहीं तो 3 बंदे ढूंढ
In the meantime, space being
गोल्ड वाले उनको अपन सिखाते एक रोल वाले तू कौन सा रोल खेल सकता है
players about to be stacked at mount.
Medalist.
Smoke timing from Forsaken, right as they're coming towards C.
मैं लेने को बैठा तू
precious extra seconds. Plus there's the
दो जन हो गए तू और मैं.
Off the backside rolling that are going to be SEN. No one getting hit by that one as the wall.
इनमें देख 2 डिविलिश थे इनमें 2 डिविलिश थे
इन
लोग में एक है इनमें 2 है
हद यार
आई जब्बर मार दिया सबको मार दिया जिंग ने
कहां अरे
सबको मार दिया जिंग ने सबको मार दिया
दवाई अरे जिंग भाई रिकॉन अरे
येड़ा कर तेरे पीछे मेरा येड़ा कर दिया जिंग ने
मैं और मेरा आगे
किधर देख रहा है पिच पे क्या और मैं YouTube देख रहा हूं
YouTube पे देख रहा
This is a great change up here.
अगर 2x कर दे स्पीड 2x कर
and that is all
ऐसा रीटेक करना रहता रीटेक देके एक बंदा भी नहीं मरा
that smoke again just buys them a little bit extra time.
उनके आइल्स की वजह से ही वो लोग मर गए पता वाइपर के एंगल ही देख नहीं पाए
to just storm into the site. The rocket found Leaf.
मेरे को भी बहुत खेलने का मन हो रहा है टूर्नामेंट में
finds 3 kills there.
अरे मोटिवेशन बहुत आता मालूम है इन लोग से
Full lobby से motivated हो
Very, very nicely done. A great
All will
night
पे
call
दिखते
as
हैं फिर
well.
teammate
Great
चुप
timing
आते
there
हैं
from
वो
Patman.
करते हैं
Catches almost
का रिवील है अभी
everyone.
ये देख रिवील देख भाई का ऐसा ए करना चाहिए मालूम क्या अपन को ऐसा ए
2 सेकंड में वो लोग क्रॉस जिंग उधर पहुंच जाता है
Nobody home for G2.
इसको देख ये अलग है भाई
तो देख स्टन में मार दिया
वही तो
येड़ा इसके एम देखना
समथिंग है भाई समथिंग है अरे एकदम चिल है मालूम है लोग बहुत चिल है
समथिंग बहुत चिल है समथिंग बहुत चिल है
curveball here at G2.
ये मेरे को लगता है फाइनल में PRX जाएंगे इस बार ऐसा लग रहा है
जिंग का लास्ट ना जिंग लास्ट रिटायर हो रहा जिंग ये ओडिन 4 सेकंड क्यों 0 किल पे 0 किल पे वो जिंग नहीं बोला मैं रिटायर हो रहा
है क्या अभी तक उसने कुछ चालू ही नहीं किया कि रिटायर हो रहा है
बोला उसने तो येड़े लास्ट टूर्नामेंट है मेरा
माइंड फ्रीक आएंगे ना इसके बाद
माइंड फ्रीक है ना
रेस कौन खेलेगा फिर
नहीं होगा वो है ना वो भी तारे किधर है वो जाड़ा मोनिया
वो आरआरजी में खेल रहा है
वो है ना उसका मैच है ना कल उसका मोनिया अभी तो ये किस स्पैम में मूवमेंट देख भाई का बस मूवमेंट देखने का इसका अरे जिंग बैन क्या मारेला
वो 2 मार दिया
अरे कोऑर्डिनेशन देख कोऑर्डिनेशन
3 क्या मार दिया
इसको देख
ये उड़ जा रहा है जिंग बीम का फोटो वीडियो डाला था इसने ट्विटर पे मैच आफ्टर क्या बिफोर मैच जिंग बीम में ऐसा उठा रहा है
Well, you're seeing an extra little bit of patience from PRX in these last couple of rounds. See VALORANT scratching his chin a bit.
करना तुझे 2018 से सगळे ऑर्डर करायचे
Paranoia, some good flashes this time. Jing on the point of attack, holding the line.
अपने को बंदे अपन अपना कोई कोच नहीं रहेंगे
And just a
अपन ही कोच करना पड़ेगा 2 बंदे लेने चाहिए जो अपने 3 बंदे लेने के जो अपने अंडर खेल सके अपने से बड़े नहीं छोटे ही आ जा जिंग घुस गया इधर
G2 though.
जिंग नहीं रिटर्न होंगे येड़ा क्या उनका टीम ही टूट जाएंगे लौड़े वही खेलता है आधा
Everybody was there for PRX.
मोडिन स्पैम आधे आधे
नोवर टू रन
उसका रिवील देख किधर से लिया उसने
That's the smokes that you no longer have to be concerned about.
यार एक जीतेंगे रे एक मारा तो भी क्या होगा
Some kind of reaction here out of PRX. Throw the smoke as
समथिंग है
well.
ना देख ये समथिंग वो एक दम में खेलता वो देख वो
Push out of this one. And that's going to be VALORANT taken down as
देख बराबर
बैटमैन भी गई
Simplifying one overdrive.
अरे हट
Escorting forward. Finds the headshots across onto the Divine. Patman and something with 40 health between the two of them.
अगर क्लच मार दिया तो
On the side
सब लो है
भाई मारा उस दिन देख लिया
swings. We're just going to be trading back these round wins.
समथिंग है मार सकते हो
Line will not connect, but
नहीं हट
dropping down into the site, instantly noted and dealt with.
बैटमैन वो भी डेंजर खेलता है अच्छा खेलता है
तेरा आगे है
थोड़ा आगे एकदम
Neck and neck.
एक 2 सेकंड
As it gets the ping reveal at the end.
जीत गए
4K here for the Neon. 4 rounds for G.
नहीं 3 लावायचे
We remain tied up.
Yeah, that's a great momentum swing, a great economy swing here for G2. Even get themselves right back into the thick of it.
4 सेकंड बाद तो हो जाता
क्या बोला
Desk was talking about his Neon.
4 सेकंड रहता तो जीत जाते
Showing you
हैं
why.
हाँ
He
ऐसे
is
नहीं
so
है ना
highly regarded on that
उन
age.
लोग ने एग्रेस कर दिया उनका वही मेन ही है
Absolutely destructive with the overdrive. Jing one away from another.
एक दूसरे वो देख
PRX looks to line
ये
up.
फाइमन घुस रहे
सी पे उरू देख कितना अच्छा देख सी पे सीधा छोड़ दिया उसने टीपी वो देख अरे हरामजादा जॉग है
Able to find the kill for Saken again.
और सेकंड को वापस ले लिया
First one to fall here for PRX, having a rough go of it. Thinking about, I'm not sure. Yeah, no.
समथिंग पे दम है पर एकदम घुस के खेलता हूं
ऐसे ही बंदे चाहिए रे एड़े बंदे नहीं
उसकी
चाहिए
बॉडी देख आयन एपिसोड 9
Check the A site.
Doesn't stick it.
समथिंग की बॉडी देख आयन 3 की बॉडी थी आयन 1 या आयन 2 की एड़े इधर मतलब सब लोग ग्रेडेड नहीं है तभी इन लोग को लेते
Around the back here of this
फिर
team.
वैसे
Leg of Divine. Flying
मर गया
out. So much
दवाई
damage and taken down.
दवाई आगा समथिंग को देख
समथिंग
समथिंग गया समथिंग मार
इसको भी पता है
जिंग है ना
समथिंग को मारता क्या कर दिया तो
कर दिया ना भाई
रीड कर लिया रीड कर लिया रीड कर लिया रीड कर लिया 4 सेकंड मर रहा ना रे इसलिए हाजिर
सेंट्रल्स के मैच में मजा आता रहे मजे भी करते और लोग मारते भी
assailable for the players of PaperX. You catch Forsaken trying to hold an angle there.
नहीं एम भी लेकिन
डिस्कॉर्ड पे से 3 बंदे ढूंढ सिस्टम रजिस्टर कर देखिए पेटीवीटी खुला है
It's a weaker buy here for
ये
PaperX.
अटैक है
Couple sheriffs, a guardian.
3 बंदे ढूंढना है एड़ा को टाइमिंग खेलेंगे तभी रैंक अप होगा
अच्छे बंदे तू कैसे मिला हम लोग को
रैंडम मैच में पर्ल के अभ्यास के मैप में मालूम है तू उसके अकाउंट से खेल रहा है
उसको देख 4 सेकंड को देख 4 सेकंड को देख ओए भाई
वो 2 मार दिया
ओए भाई
2 मार दिया
2 मार दिया खाया चॉकलेट खा
ये देख ऐसा रहते 4 सेकंड को इसलिए मारते वो लोग पहले येड़ा ये करता है
दूसरे ने देखा वो देख
गन दे रहा गन दे दिया
गन दे दी सुन ये सब अपन ने गोल्ड लॉबी में किया ना
एड़े हो जाएंगे ना
उन लोग रोटेशन पे भी नहीं खेलते एक ही साइड आते उल्टा तो गेड़ हो जाएंगे सब इसको देख कोई तो गुस्सा भी यार दिखा ना ये भाई अरे
कितने जा कितने बॉल है
भाग गया
4 सेकंड गया देख पहले गया
अरे देख लिया साइड क्लियर भाई सीधा अन्ना कर दा ये डेंजर अरे यार कितना अच्छा एडवांटेज था उसको ओए भाई भाई अरे अरे मार
आई सब पता क्या खेल रहे हैं क्या गेम है इसका
वो तो मर मत ब्लाइंड विंड सब है अरे नाइस वन
पूरा 4 सेकंड में मैच निकल गया उसका गेम प्ले और उसका गेम सेंस देखना ऐसा उसका गेम सेंस
टीपी का आवाज नहीं आता रे टीपी का आवाज नहीं आता
भाई उसका आज देखा उसने किसके लिए आल्ट यूज किया इन्फो लेने के लिए
कीमती चीज के लिए अपन के पास प्लान करने के लिए
अपने बंदे एक मर गया तो रोने चालू 2 राउंड्स गए तो रोने चालू देख खड़ा हो गया हंस रहा है PRX बंडल लेना पड़ेगा PRX बंडल ले रहे हैं तू क्या कह रहे हो गिफ्ट करो रे PRX बंडल वो पुश क्यों कर रहा है
मर गया ना
मारा PRX
ये मर गया कोई नहीं समथिंग है ना वो आपके साथ ये देख वो अच्छा भाई जो मारता ना मार शॉट भाई का शॉट मारा
इधर आके टीपी
के साथ एक किल निकलता इधर टीपी करके इधर
मारेंगे इसको मारेंगे देख ओ
ओए दिखा
जिंग ने पिक लेना चाहिए था जिंग ने पिक लेना चाहिए था
जिंग है ना साइड पे है ना ये दवाई है ना अरे हगरा
दवाई आ गया ना ले ऐसे करते एक राउंड जीते ना तो लगे पुश फैन ये करते थ्रो करते देखा ना
है ना जिंग है ना अल्ट देखे है ना उसका मालूम है उसका अल्ट
जिंग है
ये देखे
अरे मरा नहीं कैसे
ओए अरे
मरा कैसे नहीं ये देख ये फैंटम इसलिए यूज नहीं करता वेंडल रहता ना मर जाता
नहीं लॉन्ग रेंज में अरे पर फैंटम अच्छा है ना
वैंडल है ना भाई फिर इसी के लिए तू बोल रहा है देख वैंडल देख देख वैंडल ये देख
उसको भी वॉल पिंग बोला
ये देख वैंडल इसके एम तो ऐसा लग रहा है गोल्ड 1 से भी नीचे वाला है
वही ना स्कोप खोल ये देख ये
हां खा के जाड़ा हो गया खेला
ये डेंजर है कोच मारेंगे देगा एक मारेंगे इन लोग अभी सेव राउंड है उन लोग को देख कैसे जीतेंगे
ब्लैंकेट बस ये डीजी लाइक
हो गया सेव राउंड में भी कुछ डर नहीं है इन लोग को
ऐसे अपने को खेलने का ये मतलब लेना खुद ऑर्गेनाइजेशन अपने को हायर करना चाहिए येड़ा बनने से यार
लोगों को सिखाने का पैसा मिलना चाहिए डे
इन बंदे ढूंढ रहे एड़े बंदे ढूंढते हैं
अपने बी बोल ना सीधा रोटेट कर देंगे इन लोग को देख मार अरे हक दिया हट दी शिवानी
अरे मारना समथिंग
अरे प्लांटर अरे 4 सेकंड
मार दे 4 सेकंड में एक मार दे
एक एचपी
4 सेकंड रोटेट भी किया
लॉल उन लोगों को मालूम नहीं
उसको
शपथ का
ओए शपथ मार दिया दोनों को
ओए जोर शपथ
ये क्या गेम सेंस है इसका यार व्हाट द फक ये क्या गेम सेंस है मेरे को बता भाई
अपना चीज़ कैसे सीधा स्पाइक के लिए बस वो भी आ गया देखिए गोल्ड
प्लेयर देखे देख अब उसके 4 सेकंड में गेम प्ले देखना भाई इसको कोई चेंज नहीं कर सकता मेरे को लगता है 10 जैसे खेलते हैं
A phenomenal back and forth from both of these teams. You have to love the
अबे लोग के सब
आईजीएल देख रहे क्या आईजीएल
टैलेंटेड है
अपने बंदे लोग को कुछ बोलते भी है इधर आ भी गया है
great individual plays, great lurking.
एड़े होंगे
25 एचपी रख के पुश कर रहा हूं
वो लोग एड़े रहेंगे क्या खेल रहे 3 राउंड उसने ऐसे निकाले वो लोग इसको ही मारने का ट्राई करेंगे पहले है ना
It is a very special experience being here, being able to watch these games live, and I'm bringing you a special guest, Jonah P's brother, Justin P. Can I call you that?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
How are the nerves? You know, this game, it cannot get closer than that half.
I'm stressed. I'm a bit nervous. Not as nervous as I was for the final Bangkok. Watching at home, my hands were shaking. I'm probably still shaking a bit now, but I'm really excited for him and all of G2, and I know they can do it.
Now you've supported him every step of the way.
ये सब क्या कर रही
What does it mean
इसने
to be
बीच में कुछ किए थे आर यू सिंगल
in Canada, you know, in his home turf?
लफड़ा हो जाएगा
ये सब क्या फ्लिक्स कर रही है ये सब
Him being the representative of Canada for the G2 scene, and also
Canada
being able to come here because
representation
we're from Montreal, so it wasn't that bad of a
मेरा स्क्रीन
drive.
देख रहा
Being able to see him live is amazing. It's incredible.
And lastly, is there anything you want to say to him if he could hear you right now?
I'll just remind him what I said. G2
इसे
has
अभी बिरयानी
lost
खाऊंगा रुक बिरयानी
energy.
लाऊंगा मैं अभी
They can't be like if anybody can come back, they can do it. He can do it. I believe.
सेंटिनल्स के मैच में लाता बिरयानी
Every time we used to play together back in the day, everybody accused him of
बिरयानी
hacking
खाऊंगा
every single game. So
खाना नहीं खाया
he
तो
just has something special, and I know he has it. And I
खाया पर अभी वापस भूख लगा 8 बजे खाया था
That's right. We believe in G2, don't we, guys? We believe in them. Thank you very much, Justin, for joining me. And let's see if G2 can.
3 बंदे ढूंढना 3 बंदे
बबली भी ये बबली क्या टेक्स कर रही है
हाँ वही तो बोल रहा हूँ 2-3 दिन से देख रहा हूँ वॉच पार्टी वही दिख रहा है
वही दिख रहा
हाँ पिछला स्ट्रीम देख जाके कल का परसों का स्ट्रीम देख परसों का स्ट्रीम रेड़ा हो जाएगा उसके तो पहले उसके पहले का तो देख रेड़ा हो
कल किसका मैच है आरआरक्यू और
जेंजी का है ना
कल पहला नहीं हाँ कल जेंजी कल देखेंगे रात वाला देखेंगे
इसको सपोर्ट कर रहा है
जेंजी फैनेटिक जेंजी तुम्हारी बात
फैनेटिक मेरे को पसंद नहीं इसमें से एक भी जन पसंद
really solid fundamentally.
फैनेटिक अच्छा खेलता है
क्रोनो लल कौन है क्रोनो बिनो वो तो येड़ा बेड़ा लग रहा है
क्रोलोल
हां उसका वो हिलता ही नहीं
फैनेटिक में नहीं है
वैसे ही है वो उसमें ही है फैनेटिक में ही है वो
ए काया के ओड़ी
क्या येड़ा है क्या तू वो एकदम स्ट्रेट बैठता है देख
क्रोनो नहीं है
कौन है वो
फैनेटिक में है ही नहीं वैसा कोई
अरे हे बाबा येड़ा है तू तेरे को नाम नहीं पता
अरे ये कितने बार देख चुका हूँ ये
जा देख फैनेटिक का नाम बता 5 जन का
देख एक बोस्टर है एक अल्फा जेर है एक क्रोनिकल है अच्छा क्रोनिकल अच्छा वो क्या
वो ऐसे स्ट्रेट बैठते एकदम ऐसे
हाँ उसकी मुंडी बिंडी ऐसी रहती है
कुछ भी नहीं हिलता सिर्फ हाथ हिलाता है
पर खेलता उसने
हाँ वो क्लच करता है
उसने तो जीता देता है
एंट्री मार दिया अकेले एंट्री मार दिया
ये देख फटती नहीं वो देख सब रोटेट ये देख क्या टेटी टीम है
गान बटरी देख एड़ा चले कर देख
सुन डुएलिस्ट रह के कर रहे अपनी इधर बोलो तो ए डुएलिस्ट चलना एंट्री देना चलना आ गए पे देख रीड इन लोग का रीड अच्छा है पर फैनेटिक का जितना बोलूं तो मैं रीड अच्छा है हाय करना जाना जान शॉट
हक देते
और
हैं
एक और एक और एक चल 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 और एक
हक दिया मत चल ना
कोनी अरे हक दिया अरे हाँ मार दिया चल जिंग में मार दिया है ना फ्रेंजी
3v3 ओमन को देख अपने ओमन मर गया पूरा अपना ओमन
नहीं होएगा रीटे 1 घंटे का रीटे को था
घेर लिए इनको
ए डायमंड की बड़ी लगाला आओ पता है क्या खेलेंगे ये देख
ओ जिंग दोन मार दिया जिंग दो मार दिया 3 मार दी जिंग
ओ
सब
मार तीसरा भी जॉर्ड
जिंग डेंजर
क्या निकाले ला रहा हूं
से चले मत करो
I love this pistol setup from
जिंग बोलते यार क्या है
PRX.
डायमंड बड़ी लगेगी एड़े मेरे साथ एड़े मत करो
And it's like if something doesn't make any contact, we can go back the other way.
G2 का टीम अच्छा नहीं है रे इतना भाई जॉगे में अच्छा खेलता
He has that TP to go.
G2 का ड्यूलिस्ट कौन था जो छोड़ के गया
ये देख इसको देख इसको
It's a nice job. One of the things that G2 does against PRX, they do these little shoulder peeks to try to get
अरे
them
इसको पता है
to
जीतने वाला है
refire. And he
ये
actually
इतना बोल रहा
holds and waits for the repeat from late.
सेंटिनल्स के सामने आने ना गान पटेंगे फिर
Did a good job.
अरे इन लोग के ने टेंस के सामने गान पट्टी इसलिए हरे तो गेम अच्छे खेल रहे थे
मालूम
टेंस के नाम की वजह से अलग हार गए थे वो
पैसिफिक में पहला जंजी है ना
सिंगल टैप दे रहे
इन लोग रहेंगे
हां जेंजी है
जंजी भाई गान का टेक्सचर ही काफी हो गया
इस बार आरआरक्यू जीती है इस बार आरआरक्यू जीती है इसलिए वो फाइनल में ये गई ना
चाइना
ये देख ना इधर लिखा है तीसरे नंबर पे दूसरे पे जेंजी थी जेंजी इनको कुत्ते जैसा मारे थे
नहीं रे भाई जंजी कुत्ते हैं भाई जंजी
एक से अकेले ही मार गए
ये वो
अभी देखा उन लोगों ने तो स्ट्रिंगर बाकी है ये पांचों ने
सेव नहीं करना रहता मालूम क्या तेरे को सेव का कुछ फायदा नहीं है सेव मतलब एक जन ने तो बाय लेना चाहिए ओए होली का है ना समथिंग है ना भाई कवर देने
येड़े चल
चलने करने के
ए 3 मार दिया ए 4 मार दिया
अरे G2 हराम
लिफ्ट बहुत हरामी है लिफ्ट बहुत हरामी है लिफ्ट के भी दे दिया
मर जा
40 दे दिए लिफ्ट के भी मेरे चाले मत करो
कितनी स्किन यार इन लोग का अकाउंट ही ढाप लेने का ऐसा लग रहा है
एक अकाउंट मिल गया तो ही बता दोनों के एक ना
अरे किसका भी एक मिल गया बस होगा
देंगे या फिर
उन लोग को मेरे को कौन नहीं पसंद मालूम है वो ये नहीं पसंद लीफ नहीं पसंद मेरे को
वहां लीफ बहुत है चोर बंदा है चोर लगता है ना
और जॉन का मुंह देख
लीफ है ना मैंने इतने बार दिखा है ना कैंप करते बहुत डेंजर कैंप करके मार
जॉन का मुंह जॉन
चेंबर बंदे मेरे को पता है मेरे को पसंद ही नहीं
4 सेकंड देगा ये देख
ओ देख और ना कसम
भाई पट्टी भाई की क्या है भाई खेलते की मस्करी खेलता
कुछ कर दिया अभी ये लोग एग्रेसिव हो गया बैक स्टेप कर रहे
मालूम है लोग
वॉल लगा आ गया पीछे आ गया
ये देख येड़ा गया सीधा ये देख
ब्लाइंड ब्रेक कर दिया थ्रो कर
डायमंड ये भी रखना है जॉन पी एकदम छपरी लगता है जॉन पी ये देख एम देख किधर
एम देख तो बोल मारेगा घर पे घुस के मारेगा अमेरिका में कैसे जीत गया स्टेक 1 अमेरिका में पता नहीं चला सेंटिनल हागी थी उस दिन नए थे ना रीड कर लिया
नहीं होएगा तभी लोग इन लोग चेक करते अरे पैटमैन के फेस पे क्या दिखा रहा है
पैड बीट तो नहीं दिखा रहा है परफेक्ट सेल का
हम लोग का रीड देख ए आओ भाई
हक दिया चल
इसकी क्लासिक है G2 क्या मारे ना
PRX क्लासिक लेने का मेरे को पैसा भेज दे
भाई एम मत करो
खेले था
बस गेम सेंस को लगाओ गेम सेंस से भी जीत जाएंगे
पुश करेगा बैटमैन पुश करेगा
वो देख इसको देख भाई लोग की मूवमेंट वो देख
ऐसा मूवमेंट किधर से सीखने को मिलेगा
समथिंग
डेली आप लोगों को सीरियस खेलना पड़ेगा
ये समथिंग
उनको डिमोटिवेट कर दिया रे इन लोगों ने खेलने का मन ही उठ गया
लीडे उन लोग में कौन नहीं खेलने वाला उनका जॉग है वो जो
अकेला ही खेलता है
वो आसपास के साथ था इसके लिए हो गया ऐसा आसपास के साथ खेलने गए आसपास के साथ खेलने गए ना जॉग है वो उसकी टीम में था ना वो पहले अभी हक दिया क्या वही टॉप फ्रैग है देखना भाई क्या करेंगे वो खेल के भी
अकेले ही खेलते हैं ना
कैसे पहुंचे रे इन लोग
सेंटिनल का आ रहा के पूछे लोग
भाई इन लोग ए लेफ्ट देख अरे ये देख ये ऐसे चेक नहीं करते इन लोग
PRX मार दे डेव ने मार दे
दवाई छोड़ेंगे दवाई गांग मारेंगे है ना तीनों अच्छे प्लेयर हैं अभी तो
चेक नहीं किया रे पहले प्रॉलर भेजना चाहिए अपन मालूम है इनकी गलतियां देख के अपन सीख सकते मालूम है अपन अपने मैच में ऐसे गलतियां नहीं कर सकते अज्यूम कर सकते हैं
इन लोग को रीड देख उन लोग का रीड देख तू बस रीड देख कौन है लोग पैटर्न दवाई है ना दवाई करेंगे छोड़ देंगे ये देख अभी
4 सेकंड दो मारेंगे दो
मारेंगे बचेगा हां दो मारेंगे वो प्लान करेंगे और इन लोग रोटेट करेंगे देख अरे नहीं रे निकाल सकते हैं अभी निकाल सकते हैं टाइम
गलत एंगल पे बैठते रे
ये मारा था मुंह देख उसका मुंह देख
छोड़ के देख हाथ के मार दे
वैसे दिख वो देख इसको देख देख ले दवाई ले अरे
दवाई थ्रो रे
अच्छा खेलता रे होगी ये चोर दिखता लीफ पत्ता पीते दिखता एकदम
इसको बैन करना चाहिए इसको गेम में लिया है कि चोर लोग
मेरे को ट्रेंड अच्छा खेलता वेलिन अच्छा खेलता और जॉगेम
पहले रेड फ्लैग देखना चाहिए था ना
ट्रेंड अच्छा खेलता ट्रेंड तुक्के मार रहा था इसका मुंह देख
आरुष जैसा लग रहा है
चीनी चुंगी अमेरिका में ऐसे भी पैदा होते क्या
अरे खा के घर में बैठे रहते थे ऐसे ही रहते सब देख सब जा रहे हैं PRX जैसा बॉडी नहीं है किसका PRX 4 सेकंड बॉडी देखो
सब पतले
बस दवाई खा के जा रहे 4 बजे उठते हो लोग 10 बजे सोते हैं
मालूम
अमेरिका वाले 12 बजे 2 बजे
अभी स्पॉडी कल एक बंदा एसेंट पे बी मैन से फ्लैश दे रहा था तब से फ्लैश दे रहा हूँ मैं तो पहले नहीं देने का
बॉडी भी नया है
अबे 10वीं में भाई वो 11वीं में गया अभी तू ही बोल ऊपर ऊपर उसको दिखा अरे ऊपर दिखा इसको ए चल छू दे
मार दिया सब जीत गए लिफ्ट चोर बच गया चोर दो मार दिया चल घर पे चल चल
देखने मजा
बाल देख तेरे जैसा बाल है देव का बाल तेरे जैसा है
ये अच्छा खेलता बैटमैन
जिंग नहीं जाएंगे
एम निकला इन लोग का
वही तो सीखने को बोल रहा हूँ तुमको लिफ्ट तुक्के मारता मालूम
सेटअप देखना उन लोग केड़े कुछ एफपीएस नहीं सब
पेट में दुख रहा उनका
इसका मुंह देख
बात तुमको है मालूम है हारने वाले अभी तुमको पता है भाई
एड़े तू लड़की का पीएफपी क्यों अकेला
क्या वो माइकी लौड़े लड़का है
ऐसा
लड़का है वो माइकी
गाड़ी नहीं है ऐसा लगा
चेंज करने वाला
क्या एनीमे देखता
देख के हो गया यार बहुत देख लिया जब मैंने सब देख लिया वन पीस नहीं देखा वन पीस
बॉडीगार्ड भाई ये सच्चा खेलता जॉगे मां अकेला
वो जेड बहुत भारी खेलता है उसे
उसने भाई क्या क्लच किया था एसेंट में नाइफ्स के साथ
एड़ा कर दिया था सबने
बेड़ा कर दिया था भाई
अभी भी आसपास कोई अलग बोलते भारी खेलता
भाई पर टेंस का जो था ना भाई ये मैप पे एस वो जो किया था ना मूवमेंट क्या मूवमेंट दिया था भाई वो बक्से के
गन के हाथ में रख के गन हाथ में रख के
हाँ वही भाई एकदम चिल प्लेयर है
वो बोला है मैंने वो बोला है ना मैं हम लोग रिटर्न आ सकते
Pushing forward this time, committing.
चिल पे एकदम कुछ ज़्यादा चिढ़ाते नहीं कुछ नहीं शादा खेलने देखा अभी तभी इन लोग घुसेंगे देख किधर जा रहे हैं
ए आल्ट वेस्ट कर दिया 2 आल्ट वेस्ट करवा दिया
कोई नहीं है ना टेंशन खा ले ए 4 सेकंड है मत चोरी की
तभी जीतेंगे मेरे को लग रहा है
समथिंग है ना समथिंग को समथिंग को फ्लैश रेडी
है ओमन को मारेंगे देख ऊपर है ना तब भी मारेंगे
देख अरे
मार दिया एक को ही मारा ना
देख कवर देख उन लोग का अपना कवर कैसा है चल मार गए दोनों चल गया
Sometimes G2 will make quick rotations if there's any space open on the map. This may already be sort of a save position here.
Spike ले लो, सेव करेंगे शायद से.
We'll have to see. 30 seconds left. Spike out in the open, no smokes to utilize.
वो अल्टीमेट बैटल है, एक चोर, वो देख चोर, अल्टीमेट बैटल अभी तक.
I don't know, there's still time.
चोर था क्या सच में चोर था?
इसमें बैकस्टैप नहीं करते पर अपन कर सकते हैं सब चीज देख इसने ब्रॉन्ज का बॉडी लगाया है देख ये रहते रियल प्लेयर्स देख ब्रॉन्ज का बॉडी
गोल्ड का है क्या
ब्रॉन्ज है
अगर आप ये लोग थ्रो कर रहे हैं इसलिए थोड़ा धीरे के लिए वापस राउंड थ्रो नहीं करना चाहिए है ना वही
पर इन लोग भारत में पड़ता घुसते तभी भी मालूम है इन लोग अरे लास्ट वाला लगा ऋषि आइस ने को कवर देने उसको ये देखिए जीत रहे तो भी
ये मार रहे हैं गान मारेंगे कुछ मारेंगे
अरे हर मैच में उसका हर मैच में करता हो ऐसा
ऐसे ही कुछ चाहिए इतने लोग कुछ भी करते हैं
हाँ फिर ऐसा मतलब थोड़ा प्रेशर आना चाहिए इन लोग पे फिर खेलते
डिवलिश खेलने का बहुत मजा आ रहा है 5 में
अरे मेरे को मोटिवेट बहुत होता है VCT देख के पर टीममेट्स कभी गेम प्ले हक देता मैं तो नहीं होता रे जिंगी भाई
They were just trying to play for a pinch, I believe, on the mound. PaperX continued in that direction.
तभी उधर ही जाएंगे देख.
PaperX has that nightfall. Close to a showstopper.
इधर ब्रीच को मार दिया ना.
Clear open the site pretty well.
घुसे. देख कुछ यूटिल वेस्ट कर देते इन लोग सीधा. अपने तो यूटिल रखते हैं अपने वाले तो. लगता है राउंड निकल जाता एम पे खेल वो देख घुस गए वो भी ले लिया उसको लिटरली
तीनों भाग गए
तीनों भाग ले अल्ट ये ले अपना अल्ट कैसा है रिटिक को खेलने का
वो लोग घुस रहे क्या उनकी गांड में दम ही नहीं घुसने में
अरे दवाई का अरे हड़वे नहीं करना थ्रो मार दिया
ये जिंग हक दिया
दवाई है अरे फैंटम लेना था थ्रो कर रहे अभी थ्रो कर रहे
वो मैं जितना चाहिए रे प्लेयर जैसा थ्रो नहीं करना चाहिए
that nightfall.
ऐसे देखिए अपने को खेलने का मन खेले था ऑर्डर उसका टीपी नहीं था जिंग ने मारना चाहिए था
इसको लेने का
माइंड फ्रिक मारेंगे आज कोच आएंगे बोलेंगे फिर वो माइंड फ्रिक को रखा है इसलिए वो जाए ना स्टेज पे कोच मारेंगे PRX पे जाके पहले इसको मारेंगे 4 सेकंड
आयशा सेटअप चाहिए 0 पिंग 1-2 पिंग
इनका इसमें नहीं चलेगा बाकी अपने सामने वाले को भी उतने ही इतना राउंड थ्रो किए लोग 3 के 4 राउंड
छोड़ना जीतेंगे तभी ओटी गया तो भी कुछ नहीं
कोच गाले देते रहेंगे ना कैसा करके बड़ा बिड़ा है क्या जिनको बोलते रहेंगे
समथिंग सबसे एड़ा है, घुस जाता सीधा और मारता भी उतना।
Being able to avoid the nightfall allows him to get back in that much faster, that much cleaner.
वो मैच में बंद होना चाहिए था गेम, क्योंकि थोड़ा ब्रेक मिलता।
हो जाएगा बंद हो जाएगा। ये सेव राउंड है ना, ये तो सेव राउंड है। सेव नहीं है, हाफ शील्ड पे था, ठीक है ले सकते राउंड सब। दिमाग देख
और
सेकंड का अल्ट है, कुछ तो करेगा, तूफान नहीं करेंगे।
This is a critical round.
रीच का अल्ट आने वाला हूं।
मूवमेंट देख उसका।
A lot of money here. He's been buying up
और सेकंड का
for something.
हां नहीं समथिंग का
to try to find ways to get this done. Jing.
Jing है, ऐसे खेलते हैं, ऐसे क्यों खेलते हो?
Swings out. Valen continuing the challenge here, continuing to try to find that kill.
अरे ऐसे थ्रो करते हैं।
Not going to be cleared. Valen will concede the angle. Allows for Jing to stay alive here for the moment. Tap at the door, gate crash back into a lobby. It's like PRX trying to see if they can catch somebody.
एंगल ले रहे हो?
Along sight
ऑफ
lines.
लेके बैठे हैं, रन बाद ऑफ लेके बैठे हैं।
मार दिया चल।
Swings in.
कोई नहीं
Quick 1-for-1.
मार दिया इसको।
Forsaken does
एक
get
पे
the
जाओ,
headshot
रीड
to the
अच्छा
back.
अच्छा रीड है, जाओ जाओ बीसी, अच्छा रीड है।
4v4.
रीड
Jing
अच्छा
though,
रीड अच्छा
32
रीड
health.
अच्छा रीड अच्छा रीड अच्छा।
Like a hand here from Patman. They juggle it over. Answer's gonna be no. So showstopper now.
मैंने को
चीज का डर देख।
Rare little oopsie from Trent on the shot guard.
Spike planted.
Able to find
और लोगों को फोर्स करना है।
value.
वही ना।
G2 लिफ्ट पे कर रहा है, G2 लिफ्ट पे लगा पैटमैन का क्यों दिखा रहे हैं लोग?
वही ना, जब से देख रहा है कि G2 लिफ्ट पैटमैन ये देख।
देव को भी पैटमैन एड़ा हो गया।
इद्दू आगे शादी होने वाला।
देव मारेंगे।
Nothing spotted.
दवाई मार दिया पैटमैन यार। तीनों उधर है, आ जाओ लाइन ऑफ फायर में। ओ बे Oh, nice read. Read. George.
They बोलते PRX for the win, bitch.
Put me.
थोड़े चाले कर रहे थे उनके साथ। बोले एक राउंड स्लो खेले थे कैसे जीत गए।
ये देख इसको देख।
अभी भी PRX उड़ी बीड़ी मार के जा ही रहा था उधर इधर।
ऑफर को नहीं मारा था, मालूम क्या? अपना ऑफर से मारा था दूसरा।
हाँ पिक ही नहीं लेते, अपने बंदे ट्रेड पिक नहीं लेते, उनके बंदे देख ट्रेड पिक देखते।
इसको दे।
उड़ गया वापस। PRX उसे सेंटिनल हुआ ना, माँ कसम बहुत मजा आने वाला है। ले बोल।
जेंजियोंगा शायद। सेंटिनल जेंजियोंगा।
मैं सेंटिनल्स को एक सपोर्ट। ये देख पुश कर दिया।
ऐसा चाहिए स्टन बिन सब रेडी। नहीं करते। ओए अरे खाली अच्छा नहीं ये तो बैठ गया।
Players bounding through the door.
भाई सी खाली। रीड करेंगे तो सी।
रीड किया ना, 4 सेकंड में रीड किया ना। घुस गए।
In position just in front of B. Something pushed up forward.
घुस गया। और सब ले रीड देख। रीड देख PRX का।
दवाई को देख। अरे दवाई को देख।
और दवाई मेरे को नहीं पीना है, पर इसका क्या है? अरे 4 जन थे, एड़े बने थे। 3 राउंड मिल गया।
रीटेक है ना, रीटेक पे क्या है? कुछ नहीं है।
अल्टे जॉन पिका।
और जोली क्या है? ए नहीं है, एक और पे। एक किल से आना।
चले यार, ये बैक स्टेप करना चाहिए था ना एक ने।
ये लोग चारों जा रहे हैं, ये देख।
और टाइम पास।
समथिंग वो देख।
Steel guarded.
उड़े लगा दिए।
We'll find the weapons of the two on the opposite side of the door.
देखो स्टन भी नहीं हो रहा। अरे क्या है ये? उसको देख। अरे एम
मार दिया, एक मारे। अरे मार दिया यार। गॉड येड़े मत बनो भाई। 4 सेकंड नीचे IGL बहुत डेंजर है। कमांडेड बहुत डेंजर है, बहुत गंदा भाई। उसका एम देखेगा तो उसका पेशेंस देगा, उसको पूरा गेम पता है। और
ऐसा लग रहा है
समथिंग को
नहीं G2 ऐसा लग रहा है।
अरे वो छोड़, समथिंग का गेम प्ले देखा तूने? आफ्टर शॉक आ रहा है उस पे, भाग के उड़ के भागा नहीं उधर डर के, उधर ही बाजू में ही है। देखा ना तू?
G2
देखा देखा
एक लेके मारा वो एक लेके
And that is something that we were not seeing.
चल भाई 2 पे खत्म हो रहा है सेंटिनल्स को देखने का बहुत दिन हो गया जॉन क्यूटी मेरा फेवरेट है अभी टेंस के बाद
यार जॉन क्यूटी अच्छा खेलता है उसका नाम थोड़ा
टेंस के बाद वो ही अच्छा खेलता है अभी जैकन खेलता नहीं
चोर देख
चोर को देख मारो क्या टपली मैं कैमरामैन रहता ना टपली मार जैसे खेल देखना कि फुट नहीं तो मेरे को खेलने दे ऐसे किया तो किसने
मुस्लिम ने किसको ये लास्ट वाला डेंजर है पर लास्ट वाला कान मारता इन लोग टेंशन नहीं ले रहे क्योंकि इन लोग का लोअर ब्रैकेट
सेंटिनल के ट्रैश टॉक देखा था कि ईजी के वर्सेस
मालूम अरे इन लोग मस्ती मस्ती में खेलते मालूम क्या अमेरिका की
यू आर ऑल ट्रैश यू फायर फॉल और बहुत डेंजर चिल्ला चिल्ला के बोल रहा था वो नैरेटर
डेंजर PRX भी देखा रहेंगे दोस्ती कितनी
अरे वो छोड़ इजी के साथ भी इजी उनका कोच है ना गर्ल है उनकी कोच
मालूम
उनके टाइम पे क्या ट्रस्ट टॉक हुआ था भाई नैरेट ने क्या बोला था व्हाट वी आर डूइंग
डीमन ऊपर देखा 3 हो गया रोटेट ये ले
पुश कर दिया फायरमैन तुम्हारे गैंग में पेड़ डाल दिया लो फिर
अपनी टीम ऐसे खेलती मालूम क्या इससे भी गंदी खेलती थोड़ी गंदी
हो गया रिटेक हो गया
ले जिंग का अल्ट ये ले जिंग का अल्ट अब गाना
एक को ले लेंगे जिंग
जी वो भी हक दिया जी भाई कैसे आगे ले ए जी भाई कैसे आगे ले
समथिंग ले लिया एक को
लिया अरे क्या फायदा है लोग का अल्ट का येड़ा है रिटेक पे लेना था
येड़ा तो है मेरे को पता है पहले से पता है
अरे रिटेक पे खेलने का येड़ा अल्ट क्या नहीं मालूम
इनको और एक चांस है ना
इन लोग लोअर ब्रैकेट है ना हारे तो और एक चांस है ना
वही फायदा रहता जो फाइनल
सेंटिनल्स तो जाएंगे आज जीती फिर और एक मैच
ओमन देख भाग गया किधर था ओमन
आउटलुक के साथ ए में भेज दो अपना टेढ़ा बिला मार इन लोग का ए लेफ्ट में
एस को मारेंगे लीफ को मारना चाहिए
Favors his chances as he goes for this push. On the closer angle.
मार दिया 1 HP मार दिया
टाइम अरे
tearing them apart outside of A. With the fight. Time is just not quite there. We'll get the pick and that is going to be around over. Nothing more that something can do. Just 2 HP.
G2.
तो बाय में था अरे रुक गया
Scrape by with the win. They find their stability. The ult usage is perfect. And now they need 2 more rounds to take this.
निकाल लिया इधर आ गया पता इधर आ गया इनको पता है इधर टूटा है देख कोच को देख
They're just walking right by it, not even checking it.
उनको पता है ना लेफ्ट में उगड़ा है तो देखना चाहिए अभी VCT गेम प्ले है
You're also giving
यार है क्या
ability to get some guns into this round.
अरे जीतने का भी वो थोड़ा ये होता रे वो क्या मालूम
अल्टरना बैटमैन का फोर्सेन का अल्ट है यूरो का अल्ट है
प्रेशर देना चाहिए फिर ही लोग खेलेंगे 2 1 दिखे सब दिखे इसको लेंगे अभी
ले लिया और टिप मार दे 2 ले चित्र 2
एक सी पे नहीं सी
अरे सबको मार रहा है क्या ये मार दिया 1v1
बोलो है
अरे लेफ्ट में देख चूतिए
देखो
अरे क्या चूतिया है भाई ये प्रो करते हैं ऐसा अभी ये उड़ गया सब उड़ गए
हो गया हार गए कैसा दिया इसको ये डायमंड चूतिए को
तो कितना काम है मैं देख
अरे ये क्या था वो हाँ अब उछला गया अभी गया
देख बोला इसने काम डाउन
गया उड़ा ज्यादा उड़ा अब गाना आ रहा है अब नहीं छोड़ने वाला अब नहीं छोड़ता देख लॉक इन हो गया बैटमैन को देख अभी गाना आ रहा है गया भाई इन लोग इतना फेक करते एबिलिटीज देखे भी
नियॉन को लो रे रंडी को लो गाली मत दे पर
जॉगेमो अरे वैलिन कैसा गया रे वैलिन बेंचो कैसा रे
प्रिसाइज गन प्ले नहीं है रे गेम को डिलीट करना चाहिए लोगों ने बैन करना चाहिए
ये इसको हटाओ भाई जॉन पी को बहुत गंदा खेलता
इसने दो ले लिए ना पीछे से
पीछे से दो लिए दवाई इसका एंगल देख फटी ना ले दवाई
दो दे दो अरे यार झबे क्या बैटमैन है यार
कोई नहीं चिल होता है रे
और भी 3 है अभी भाग गए तो लवड़े भाई
उन लोगों को मालूम नहीं
अभी देखिए इसको पैडमैन को देख कैसा बैठ रही है जगह जैसा ओपन में
वो दे रहा ना पीछे से कवर येड़े क्या था रे वो क्या फ्लैश
जीत गए PRX कल आओ कल आ जाना घर पे चल इधर से
छाती उड़ा
वो उड़ रहे बिड़ रहे थे ना बीट खड़े बीड़े हो रहे थे ना क्या हो गया वो दो मैच हो गए 1-4 के मार रहा उनका ICL उनका अपना 4 सेकंड को देख वो भी खाने को बोल उसको
चोर को देख इंडियन है
इंडियन था मैं रहता ना उधर चोर बोलता उसको मैं मारामारी करता उधर मारता है मारेंगे मारने वाले कोच मारने वाले एक तो
कभी खुश नहीं रहता
उसको गेम से बहुत परवाह है भाई तो उसका जॉब है
माइंड ट्रिक किधर है भाई
माइंड ट्रिक को बीच में रखते भाई अरे असिस्टेंट किधर गया
हंसा
वो दौर शर्माता है रे माइंड ट्रिक
पिछले टाइम जिम को लेता ना इस टाइम समथिंग को लेंगे ये लड़की अच्छी दिखती है भाई लड़की
दबा के रखा था सबकी गांड चल रही है PRX जीती तो
बैटमैन
जिंग W कर रहा
ये देख वो लड़की को देख
वो ना वो हर टाइम रहती बहुत भारी दिखती है
मालूम हो सही है कहीं
अरे इसको क्यों लाया ये वाले का नहीं
First of all, congratulations, Divai.
Bubbly
You get your revenge on G2. You pick up this massive win here. But my question to you is, how did you mentally recover what happened against Team Lookit? Because often that is the most difficult part.
I mean, after the Liquid game, it wasn't easy, I would say. We went back and we had a team talk and everyone was saying their parts and we tried to understand from each other's POV and from there we work on that because we knew that
अपन रेटिंग ऐसे बोलते हैं ना एडे चाले मत करो
easier than the
सेंटिनल के फैन क्या है वो देखो सेंटिनल फैन ने इंडियन हो एडे क्या क्या वो सेंटिनल टी-शर्ट पहन के आया है सेंटिनल टी-शर्ट पहन के आया है
Indian. The third pick, they're gonna choose us because I think at the moment everyone wanna avoid Genji, so we knew that G2 gonna pick on them in that moment. But
मजा आने वाला
you can't really complain much.
क्या तू लेके मैं भी थोड़ा ब्रेक लेते हैं
the better team
when it comes to the conductors of the PaperX train, there's a few of them, but I want to ask about Mini because throughout stage 1 back in Pacific, we heard you guys talk about Mini's helping you a lot with your defense side. So coming into this tournament, is he still helping you guys? What's he been up to?
Yeah, he's still helping us. Usually after matches, he would give us like some notes to work on it individually, especially on CT. I mean on defense. So yeah, I mean it's working out great, and hopefully even though we close out 2-0 today, I'm pretty sure there's some notes that we can work on. So yeah, can't wait to go back and read his notes.
Well, what notes did he give you specifically? What did he say you need to do?
I mean, usually for me, he just focused on the ulti because sometimes I don't really use the ulti much because I was lurking and stuff. So yeah, just the utility wise.
Very last question. 3 Pacific team in the playoffs. A lot of people underestimate your region. So what is it about Pacific that you think is so strong right now and is better than the other regions?
I think I mean, every region has good aim and stuff, but I would say just in terms of aggressiveness, I think the Pacific play better in terms of the other region when it comes to good day, you know. So yeah, I think in terms of aggressive, yeah.
Well, it's a very good day today, Devi. Thank you very much for joining me. We'll see you again in a couple of days. Up next, XLG versus SEN. Don't go anywhere.
An update is required. Financial system updating. System updated.
We will dance together.
The future of money is here. It feels good.
Red Bull gives you wings.
This is your time to wake up. I look so good, no makeup. You and your man need to break up. They suck, that's tough, need to pay up. This is your time to wake up. This is your time to wake up. This is your time.
Welcome back, everyone, to Masters Toronto, and it's time for our second match of playoffs. It's the China #1 seed, XLG Esports.
Hello. I muted that.
Toronto, Canada.
Welcome back, everyone, to Masters Toronto, and it's time for our second match of playoffs. It's the China #1 seed, XLG Esports, facing off against the America's very own Sentinels. Of course, I'm Golden Boy here, back on the desk, back to Kuka Mini. We're going to get awesome videos for a while. Thank you for joining us here. Now, folks, it's going to be a crazy day here. I'm excited for this one because we got a wild story coming out of the Chinese region with this XLG lineup. This is the squad, very similar to G2, right? They're an ascension team, and they found success. We're going to see each team in this position, but instead, it's a different set of letters put together to form a board.
Time and time again, we have been surprised about how the Chinese region has been surprised in VALORANT first. This tournament is so special because we're speaking about everybody making a global debut or going into the global spaces for the first time. Because back in the day, even when we had lots of Chinese region, so we're speaking about literally the first time for the orgs even being in this.
Every single event we've had in SEN thus far, EG is one of the first global event they have come in as a number one seed. This is not only the first time a non-EDG Chinese team is coming into this tournament as the number one seed. Also, the first time these players will make their appearance at a global event. It was truly an unexpected run to make it.
Cinderella story without a doubt. Now they find themselves not just hoisting the trophy in the Chinese region, but also hoist a global trophy over their heads as well. But let's go ahead and take a look here at the map pool and how this favors.
America का तो Sentinel है, वो तो तेरे को
America का Sentinel है, EMEA का Fnatic है, सब अच्छी टीम है, और Pacific का तो डेंजर है।
वो जाड़े को देखा तू?
I want to go back and
और पता लगता है गेम गेम खेलता
how you were saying this is a Cinderella story. We cannot forget that even though, and it's so weird, they are the first seed.
American भी
We will be very surprised to see XLG real showing here in Toronto.
वो मारेगा एक को
वो जाड़ा. That top seed. In many occasions, we've spoken about teams. Oh, they were able to dodge this team and this team, so maybe they were lucky enough to get in the position that they are. It is not the case for XLG.
Yeah.
But they are coming in with a substitute playing on the roster. YOU is not going to be here.
Monitor FP क्या है? Monitor कौन सा है? HyperX का monitor है?
Onto the team. And this is tough for them to have to make a substitution coming into a main event like this. But I think it's especially when it is a team who all of their players are coming and having this experience.
के भी account में कितने ही nice skin दो तीन ही.
Yeah, it kind of trips me up too because XLG, this is the debut for them.
RGX
That is so crazy.
RGX तो मेरे दोस्त के account में
go up against any of the four teams that made it out
बोला
of this.
भारी भारी वो आया था वो तलवार आया था वो लेना चाहिए वो रे रहा वो वापस नहीं आने वाला मेरे को लग रहा है
well you having Midi coming in, a player that does not have that much experience, and yes we could say
मेरे को लगता है इजीली हरा पाएंगे
in this team, but especially having that change coming into this new meta, knowing the Teco usage that already the team had, plus Midi being a player that mostly has been playing on the Teco, leaves us with a lot of questions, right?
जब उसका प्राइम में कैसे खेलता था वन साइड मारता था ना
the most like simple way to sum up how they play is
मतलब
they
ठीक
are a
खेलता
squad
एकदम ज़्यादा
रोबोट जैसे खेलता है
He's their star
पहले का उसका aim
player. He
देखी
has the
हो
best stats in pretty much every
Hacker
match
जैसा
of
मारता है
anyone in China
तो
for
cross
stage
change
1.
कर दे
And a lot of
खेलने
their
आता ना
play, especially on the attack side,
वो
is
था
just like
इनका
4-1 lurks with a or 4-1 lurks with a lurker on one side, and then just setting up a
अरे
ton
कौन
of
सी आएंगे
detail
गाड़ी
for
किधर से आ
Varga
रही
to
इसकी
go in and have these massive
नीचे की गाड़ी लगाई ली
but that was also in the Breach Teo meta.
ज़्यादा नंबर का चश्मा है इसका, ज़्यादा नंबर पसीना आया
players subbing in, but they also have to kind of deal with the changes with the patches coming in, with Teo not being viable anymore. But what I do know is that Rorga should be expected to perform because he was so outstanding in CN.
And look, I'll be honest here, right? Rorga's coming in here with a lot of weight on his shoulders because not only is he coming in with a lot of hype,
Champions वाला अपने पास कोई नहीं है Champions वाला.
Just saw the #1 seed America's team lose on stage.
Who
knows? Maybe PRX had
मेरे
more
लिस्ट में
time
होता.
in the
मैं
oven,
सोच रहा
more
हूँ चैंपियन
time to be
आएंगे
able to
स्टोरी
work
पर
on
नहीं.
some stuff.
बाद में को तो मैं चाइना में आया था एक बार मालूम.
As well. And XLG
China में
pretty much fresh because they've never played
ये
it
लौड़े डिग्रीज
before.
खेलते हैं.
So you're looking to really see Rorga step
क्यों
the
नहीं
hell
उसका
up
दो.
and carry this team potential. Not carry, but really shine.
The thing that is
और
definitely
kills
going
per
on
round
is
में
having
almost
extra
माल
time
भी
to
नहीं आ
deal
रहे,
with
घर पे भी
all the
नहीं आ
things that
रहे.
are against him, like having to change a player, bringing him in,
छोटा
also
भी ला रहा था
learning
मालूम
from
क्या?
what the things have, the other things the teams have been
ऐसा
doing.
टेबल चाहिए
But
मेरे
I
को
agree,
टेबल लेने
GB,
का.
we have to look at G2 and what had just
छोटा
happened
ही है, ज़्यादा
against
बड़ा भी नहीं है.
PRX. I just
टेबल
pray
कितना wide है?
that them picking on
अपन बीच में करते ना.
ये माउस से किधर पकड़ रहे हैं?
Really
माउस
haven't
से
done
किधर
that.
पकड़ रहे हैं?
Yeah, I hope so as well. For this team, you know, historically when we've seen
आने वाले
non-EG
भी
teams
अभी
come
पेड़
out
पेड़
of
से
China,
खेलने
a
वाला
lot
तो
of
नहीं
the
रहेगा
time
कोई.
people think of a squad like
नीचे कीबोर्ड रखे रहेंगे.
crazy who had like their
पेड़
own
में.
like super unique style. I think XLG have been playing like
सबके पास से एक सबके पास से $100 मांगने हैं.
super out there comps. They've been pretty into the Yoru. They were super into the Teo. They're just a
एक
fundamentally
आता है नया
sound
वाला.
team with a
जो अभी नया पैक आया था
maybe
नया वाला है तो वो भी
best
भारी है.
slot duelist player up there with Kong Kong in CN, and then you have Happyway, who also has had some excellent showings. It's
यार
they
चालू
don't
करो
do
रे
a
ये
lot of
बड़बड़ी
crazy stuff,
चलती
but
है.
they just have
Maintenance का
great
कुछ दिखा
players
रही
with
नहीं.
solid fundamentals.
Yeah,
दिखा क्या हो
those
गया?
मालूम ना
fundamentals are
बाप
certainly going to be a thing that they'll have to lean on as they take on the Sentinels in just a little
Valorant
bit.
को
But
आधा
we
तो
did get an
Sentinels
opportunity
नहीं
to
बना है,
catch up
बड़ा
with a player
range
who,
नहीं
by
बना
the way,
है.
I think top 3 names in
मेरे
the
को तो
world
लग
is
रहा है.
like one of my favorite fruits. The coconut
है
standing
ना?
by with Yinsu.
Famous Valorant game 10 से ही हुआ.
Let's have a listen.
तू ही देख ना.
I'm now joined by Coconut from XLG. Now, I think the question on everyone's mind is, being seed 1, why did you choose Sentinels out of all of the opponents you could have had?
Well,
This
today
guy
is our
is today
coach's Koyo's birthday, so, you know, we gotta give him a good birthday gift.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much and good luck.
कोकोनट का बर्थडे है.
I do sincerely hope Coconut
मार
got
खाएंगे
that.
बर्थडे पे मार खाएंगे.
Of course. Moving forward, though, we have Sentinels who took down 2 Chinese squads to qualify for playoffs, and now they have a shot
देख
to
narrator
shut
देख narrator
down
danger
the
है.
whole
सीधा तल.
Korean region. But of course, you know, I think it's safe to say maybe the road was not a
हाँ
cakewalk.
वो danger clutch किए थे इनके ही against किया था.
केसी
Being able to do that much in Bangkok, going out in the first round.
बैंक को भी लिए मालूम.
They make another America's final. They play some
बैंक तो
really
मालूम
good
पहले भी था ना.
rounds, and if
100 थी उसका था इसलिए लिया उसको.
and made it out of the group stage, which I do think
ये
is
रहा.
उन्होंने प्लेयर देखो कैसे होते हैं की प्लेयर होता है मतलब एड़े एड़े प्लेयर होते हैं एकदम खेलने वाले डेंजर.
to prep for this event, and they were one of the
ये जो लिया.
मतलब उनका माइंडसेट अलग है मतलब बिल्कुल डरते नहीं.
strong in that group stage.
Yeah, one of the players we were just seeing right there was narrate. I think that the fact that the vibes are back for the side of Sentinels, we know that makes a massive difference for them. But them being alongside Gen G, two qualified out of that group stage, as you're saying, just going up against the other two Chinese teams, they could go 3 for 3. Why not? You're Sentinels. That is the way to do it.
Oh man, yeah, this Sentinel squad comes in with a lot of hype as they always do.
और उसका हाथ देखेंगा ना तो.
Gotta go back to the things that we were chatting about before,
उसको
right?
टी-शर्ट बहुत बड़ा हो रहा है.
Team has had time to really put together some stuff here. This is
और एक
pretty
चांस
scary.
है
We
नेटफ्लिक्स
also
चिल
have,
खेलेंगे.
as we talk with all these teams,
एंज बोला है कि
really strong
वो
key
रिटायर हो
players
रहा है
on
पर
top.
वापस भी
One
आ
of those
सकता है.
individuals, without
वो
a
उसने
doubt,
बोला है.
is gotta be Zelsis,
क्या पता
right?
कभी आए.
Because this
उसका
guy
मन हो
is
गया तो आए
crazy.
हैं.
And he shaved his head, which, by the way,
वो
I'm very
Sentinels में ही
confident that
जाएंगे.
as someone follically challenged, I feel like he did that in solidarity. But the jokes aside,
ये क्रॉसर भारी है.
he still has hair, but maybe not for long.
चिल खेलता
Now,
है.
of course, so,
चिल्ला था बहुत पर.
ये पर एक क्लच करता है क्लच करता है इसका फैंटम का एम बहुत डेंजर है.
चिल्ला था देख.
But he
फैंटम का एम बहुत डेंजर है
He's also
इसका.
the guy who's going to be there as like the moral support.
चिल्लाएगा देगा अभी.
Yeah, you say that.
चिल्लाता हूँ क्लच करने का मालूम क्या.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. He can.
Absolutely, yes, yes.
चिल्लाएगा अभी.
And we have to go should account for the amount of times that he stands up.
True, because he was pretty much.
दांत नहीं घासता है
I think was so key for Sen. They had some tougher games back in Americas.
दांत नहीं घासता ना वाइड बीट करना चाहिए
there as well. And not only is he playing so well on the Vise, I think when he's especially like Lotus Seaside anchoring, he's
वो
so
मोटिवेट
good
करता
in
है
those
बहुत
solo
मोटिवेट
anchor
करता है जेल से
but he's
बहुत
also bringing huge amounts of energy.
हाँ सामने वाले को डराता भी है उठना पड़ता है उसको बार-बार सामने वाला थोड़ा माइंड से खेलता है माइंड से
The team wasn't all there. The comms weren't out up to snuff, and it all went so wrong for Sen.
माइंड गेम प्ले
It's
करता
clear
है माइंड
Zelsis
गेम
is
प्ले
taking it upon himself to change that in Toronto.
And let's also see if that momentum can carry out of the Swiss stage. We're speaking about them being able to just get up on very, very high highs. If they are able to keep that up for today, they could be having a very flawless round, a very solid tournament up to the grand finals.
Who knows? Who knows? But Yinsu had an opportunity to catch up with the man himself, the Vibes merchant, to get his thoughts ahead of
10 मिनट में भाई कल हो रहा
I've got the vibe merchant himself, Zelsis from Sentinels, with me today. Now, Zelsis, I really love seeing all of the beautiful friendships you've been able to make so far in this tournament, particularly against some of the SEN teams. And now you're running the gauntlet at this time against XLG. Tell me, who's going to be your bestie in this one? How do you win them over, but without losing your perfect record?
क्योंकि सबको आ रहा है ना अभी ये लोग बदले के लिए आ रहे
हैं I guess he's going to be my bestie. I mean, I'm going to try and get that
स्टार्टिंग बाद में इन लोग हक दिए थे पूरा
अरे मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ
कमबैक हुआ इन लोग का
सेंटिनल्स ने ना सब चाइना टीम को आ रहे हैं ना वो लोग ना रिवेंज के लिए आए हैं चाइना टीम सेंटिनल्स के साथ क्योंकि बीएलजी को आ रहा है
अरे
वुल्फ्स को आ रहा है
सब ये गेम्स में सब स्क्रिप्टेड रहता वो जो बॉल में से उठाएगा
हम लोग पहले स्क्रिप्टेड मतलब उनको जो लेना है वही लेते हैं ना
been interesting because guys I don't really know what to expect as far as like well I mean we've seen a lot of Sentinels but I just don't know what to expect when it comes to this match.
इसका ये मेरे क्लच करते कि नहीं जॉन
सेंटेंस थोड़ा हां भाई जॉन अभी तक क्लच क्या भाई ये पर
जॉन भी नहीं जॉन
हक दी थी
वो येड़ा from Morocco to Canada to go to school in Montreal, and then kind of got the opportunity to get into Valorant there, was playing with M80 in the online era, and then finally got this opportunity with Sen, went down to play in Los Angeles and full commit to this career, but now gets to come back to Canada, play another event as this leader, and try and push Sentinels through, which I think is such an interesting full circle for him.
Yeah, it's a full circle when we look at also the where he has come from, when he started to where he is right now, ready to be one of the best IGLs in the world. Time and time again, every single time that we go to a tournament, this is one of the pivotal parts of the Sentinels that you have to deal with. It's not even only about superstars here or not. You need to get into his head if you want to win against Sentinels.
What were our predictions again for this?
मूडा को देखते हैं मूडा को.
The only prediction that apparently matters is the kill.
मारने वाला भाई.
Sentinels winning, so whatever.
Sentinels.
ये मारने वाला
I did as well. I think the pressure is going to be huge on Raga for this game. It's so tough to live up to those standards, especially in a new meta with a sub when it's your first time at a global.
And it's also wild too that we didn't even get a chance to talk about second.
That's
just how stacked all of these players are, folks. But you see that time ticking down. It's now time to jump into our second match of the day, and let's bring out your two teams. You have the Sentinels and XLG.
एंट्री हो रहा है किधर जा रहा है
versus Sentinels.
चढ़ने को तकलीफ हो रहा है चढ़ने को तकलीफ हो रहा है
This is it. Sentinels, XLG. The Sentinels have it in them to defeat yet another team from the VCT China region. Is it going to happen here? Can XLG shock the world and be able to pick off a win against a prolific team, Kukuka, like the Sentinels?
That is one way to start a tournament and to have a global debut. But for the side of Sentinels, with G2 already losing today, this could be a terrible day for Americas.
And it's an interesting start. XLG will pick into Sunset. Historically, this has been a fantastic map for Sentinels.
में आ रहा है रहेंगे ना दोनों चाइना को वो चाइना की टीम ने पिक किया रहेंगे हम लोग भी सेंटिनल्स को ही जाएंगे
kind of a question mark, right? XLG.
उनको पता ही नहीं कि चाइना की टीम क्योंकि सेंटिनल 2 चाइना टीम का हरा रहेगा ना ये लोग चाइना वाले गए रहेंगे हम लोग सेंटिनल को दिखाएंगे चाइना की टीम इजी नहीं आ रहा है
especially on that playoff, it was that
Lotus, के लिए आए
but now Sentinels get to play that Sunset that they have already picked in the past, and that Lotus. I do not know how to feel about the Sunset pick. I want to think about the time and them wanting to bring a surprise.
Never the showman.
Yeah, why not?
You look at this team, I mean,
he's in his element.
Those XLG players, they're stepping on a stage like this for the first time at this scale, away from home. And for Celtics, it's just another so comfortable in those positions, trying to get in the heads of those XLG players.
I still think it's wild that XLG. You know what though? There had to have been a reason. There had to have been a reason for them, confidence-wise. They felt like they can take the money. Obviously, they said it was the clout match, all that stuff, yada yada. But I also think, from a technical perspective, there might be something here that XLG could very well be keeping under the hood to maybe Sentinels off guard. Who knows what that could be? But of course, Sentinels, they have a lot of hype. What I'm worried about is if that hype begins to die down because XLG starts winning those rounds, how does that play out in mental? How does that work out in server? A lot of question marks here, Mina.
I think that's where you see the growth from Bangkok to now. Players like John, like Zels is really stepping up in those moments to keep the team in it.
Yeah, no, very good point there, right? What a turnaround that this team has had. No strangers to going up against Ascension squads and needing to deal with those teams. So this is, of course, going to be some familiar territory-ish, but at the same time, some confidence for Sentinels. They've been playing for such a long time here. But now, XLG, this is it, right? Your debut on the stage, lots of hype, fans cheering you on. It's a lot of pressure.
So I have mixed thoughts about this Sunset. Like, I like the fact that they can come in with a surprise, that there is no way that Sentinels can prep for whatever is on the other side. But Sentinels have already had such good showings in the Sunset. So for them, this veto is looking so favorable. But at the beginning of the day, I thought the same for G2 and PRX. Like, that veto looked too good for G2. And it feels like on the other side of the world, things are looking better for the other teams.
It is interesting to consider XLG's position here. Most of the time when you're a debut team at a tournament, you have basically no pressure, right? Maybe you squeak in as a 3rd or 4th seed, but they won their region. And now they have their chance to live up to that and do what EDG has done in the past. And looking at the composition here, seems like XLG, as they did in the past, kind of going with the meta. A double initiator look with Rarga on that Neon.
I mean, no surprises. Very vanilla in that sense. I mean, I like the fact that Rarga is going to be something that gives him the mobility.
इन लोग को ऐसे थे ना ये एजेंट पिक करने का ये एजेंट देंगे पर
तब इसमें 2 इनिशिएटर
is definitely there. They're playing it pretty safe for what I expected them to do. I expected something like, I don't know, the deadlock. I love the deadlock on this map.
Yeah, that was kind of perplexing. We saw the draft come in and on the map, like, we're like, oh yeah, you know, XLG. Wait, XLG? They're debuting on stage. This is a gamble here that XLG are running.
But I don't think there's a better comp to set Rarga up to shine in his opening match here. He gets to play Neon, which he is excellent on. He gets to have both initiators pumping a ton of utility into supporting him. This should be a
Discord पे कौन से server पे
to start hot.
Need 3 people for compy. Daily matches.
इनके तरफ 2
ऑडी को खिला लेंगे
तो
उसका स्कूल बिल चालू है
फ्राइडे 11 में गया सितंबर में
क्या सितंबर में
अरे कॉलेज में गए अगस्त में चालू होंगे उसको 2 महीने और
तब तो खेलेंगे टीम बुला के रखते हैं ना क्या
सेम टीम है बस एम पे खेलना भी
You want one narrative? This is the first time that we're even going to see mid lane breach on an official. I know that we're speaking about setting players up and whatnot. Well, this is no YOU.
All right.
तेज आगे भाई मालूम ना PRX को वैसे टीज किया था उसने बेंजी फिशी ने स्क्रिप्ट पे हार गया था फिर छूट
Sentinels have been on a bit of a side quest here in Toronto, folks. The Chinese team Gauntlet ends with the Gilai Gaming. But what's crazy about this is they just ascended. I mean, 6 months ago, these guys are playing in Tier 2.
It is absolutely mental. And from China, 8-match win streak. That includes beating Wolves, beating Billy,
beating EDG, the biggest favorite to be here, and now replacing them as the Titan of the region for their international debut.
अभी अपनी इंडियन टीम जाएंगे भाई उधर
Gila Gaming, the last line of defense to redeem the whole region. It is the Wonder Kids from China versus the unredeemed Sentinels. Make some noise, Toronto. Let's get this one started.
मैं अपने इंडियन प्लेयर भी गया ना तभी मेरे को अच्छा लगेगा
देख रहा नहीं मुंबई सर्वर का ईगो देख रहा हूं
first game against Wolves they have an all-time 75% win record on this
चलो चालू
XLG on the defense here. Raga gets flashed over the corner.
वैसे बुस्केट लिखता है ये सेकंड उसको मारा
ये दो मार दिया
किसने तेरा मेरा पीछे
with Coconut. Now it's Beaver and Happyway.
पीछे मेरा
Neither particularly proximate to the site as Happyway steps up first, going on a little bit of a solo endeavor. Was able to sidestep that relay bolt and aware that Zekin is still on the corner and eventually there's going to be a bolt-time swing coming his way. He has to know it. Viva's still not here. Happyway's fighting for himself.
Viva slowly creeping through the link. No, going to double up. Opting to play together here. They know where Zekin is. Recon going to get that information towards the backside as they scale forward. Time dwindling a bit.
At some point, they've got to give this a tap. Here's Zelda's on the swing, but again, the spacing. Zekin finally arrives. Happyway got into half this Red ball clutch for Zekin.
Picking up where he left off. Yeah, that was a 20 for 8 that he dropped on Billy. The first time that SEN played Sunset in this tournament. He was lethal in that game.
Maybe अभी sunset पे नहीं हो नहीं खेलेंगे ये वाला ही देख
This is how it plays out. A lot of individual moments
ये मेरा
in
रोल
this pistol round.
It really comes down to John here. I mean, you can see the XLG players. They are swinging for each other. They are double-faced into him, but they just can't connect the shots. And
उल्टा
IGL,
वायर बेर तोड़ देगा
in really good form, got a lot of multi-kills in that aforementioned Billy.
General का रीड है बाबा.
Is up already too.
Watch out for eco rounds, folks. Astonishingly effective when it comes to the Thrifties. BLG felt it firsthand, getting Thriftied 5 times over their last series against XLG.
There's no free round against this team. Rargo, when he picks up that Sheriff, is so dangerous. What I like from XLG on these rounds is that they play it basically like they still have a full buy. Really strong fundamentals in these rounds, really great trades. He also saw him this late lurk. Timing with that stinger after the spike spin planted.
He's heard the obvious rotate through Boba.
There.
No, she like game.
दो मार दिया
Zekin's able to cut them down and then happy to walk away. It's on Midi and Coconut.
गन ले ले
Sheriff for the latter. And Midi says, you know what? Yeah, I think we're probably pretty cooked here.
Left में John left John.
He's about to get more than he bargained for potentially on this swing out, and yes, we'll be dropping that stinger away.
मार दिया
Should be quick enough here to take the kill. Midi will be unaware, not on the line. That's XLG all turned into all dwarves.
आगे क्या?
Nice little shots there with that backside denying the re-entry. Wanted to create some space, always pick off. We could even really get through that. Shows the point at Boba. John gets very close to this rolling thunder. He's looking good for SEN right now. And John has actually picked up that outlaw.
Easy जितने ले रहे हैं लोग.
कितना सेकंड चालू है तेरे पे?
Can be the space creator, get
take
strong duels around, you know, with that strong weapon take through.
चालू हो गया.
SEN might look to show presence early in mid. That's the standard.
स्टन का कोई वेस्ट क्या पागल है क्या ये?
I'm interested to see how effective Midi is going to be in this breach debut for him. Hasn't played at all his team this year.
रिवील भी तोड़ देंगे अभी. एक रिवील नहीं हुआ. एक ही हुआ.
Paranoia though coming through from that Boba direction.
क्या है भाई ये? क्या ये? ओए भाई.
चार मार दिया.
John's brought down in seconds. Raga finally joins the party, but his team has paved the way.
Look at that from XLG, the way that they all just swing out of that dark cover together. What is so impressive about this team, the fundamentals. Their players are rarely, if ever, overextending on their own. It's always a double face. They love to push out of smokes together. Look at the way that they're able to support Happy Way. Really beautiful stuff.
And in that sense, this team is nothing like
Exactly. It's so juxtaposed to how wildly aggro those teams are. Not that they don't up the pace at times, but when you think about a guy like YT who is just going to extend constantly, XLG are really the opposite.
XLG don't want to try and play for halls here. 2 players in alley. It's an easy position to smoke off. The one way that was a little bit intimidating for them. 2A wanted to linger. Bank can obviously TP across the site. They've dealt with this tripwire. Here comes a rolling thunder. This will force the players out of alley. Now XLG have lost that strong defensive position, the ability to set up a crossfire from Link as well.
Hoping that Zeki could have caught someone there, but XLG prone to reclear. Should be pinging out bang. Paranoia, but just doesn't want to take this fight. Wants to cycle the dark cover first.
The refresh of that one way is massive. That is going to bleed some more copper. Raga is already nipping at the heels. Start to make his way up from main. Narrate knows the pressure's coming. Turns the flash, and 3 players from XLG, 4 in fact, set up, and Zekin is here to mow them down. One more for the blood god, he says.
Absolutely stunning. From that playoff run in Americas to qualify into this tournament has been phenomenal. Already 9 kills on the board. Perfect swing timing. XLG so distracted there. So distracted by their right to their left.
Rolling thunder to deny alley away from the defenders. Really hurts them. They're going to put all their eggs in the basket.
Many times watching this team in China is that they would go down early, win an eco, and then come right back. Got a few sheriffs here. Rarga back ghost.
टफ नहीं दे रहे BLG बिली और वुल्फ से टफ नहीं दे रहे बिली अच्छी खेलती है हाँ वुल्फ भी अच्छा खेलते हैं तब दिए थे
They'll always be looking to double or triple up. Even
in this sort of pistol round. डर नहीं भाई कौन सा है मैं भाई ये क्या
अरे उनके पिस्टल से
instrumental in turning them from a 5th place team in kickoff to by far the #1 seed. Only dropping maps.
इसको देख ये देख इसको कितना ये देखना वो कितना दम है
slowly scale into that area given up.
3 है हो गया इन लोग का 3 है बी पे जाएंगे
aforementioned BLG lost
बैठा रहेगा
on an 8-match win streak.
उसको देख
पिस्टल है ना
Cleans up those 2 anchors in market.
कभी नहीं मार पाता उसे कैन को इतना गाना गेला
Throwing the plant over to narrate. That's going to get him the
मेरिट कल्ट आया फेड कल्ट भाई डेंजर है फेड चल गाना बाहर चलने आ गया अपन फेड और ब्रीच
वही तो बोल रहा हूं तुम लोग 3 बंदे चाहिए रे ऑलरेडी हाक देते हैं
देख वो स्मोक खेलेंगे अपन दोनों इनिशिएट
अपन दोनों इनिशिएट करेंगे
इंडिविजुअलिस्ट ये देख अरे अच्छी बात
आ गया
Of course that overdrive develops.
कुछ भी
मार दिया
Somehow Mini's just picked his spot.
हंस रहा हो स्क्रीन पे हंस रहा हो
It didn't have to be really, did it?
No, that's ridiculous.
हंसी मजाक नहीं खेल रहा हो
Mini just going to fall to the spike here.
स्टन करके क्या होने वाला
Very content to get out of this round, only dropping a couple weapons. Economy bolstered at this point, and they get
डिविलिस्ट खेलता है मेरे को डिविलिस्ट में करना
वो चाइना का किंग कांग मालूम बस चीचू मालूम बस दो ही बंदे मालूम
ये लोग कैसे नंबर 1 पे आ गए
लाकिया भी अच्छा खेलता है लाकिया
That is exactly what you need from Sentinels. He was really disappointed, Zekin, in his Omen game on Icebox. He just felt like, he was even asked, like, would Tens be proud of you? And he's like, I don't think so. I wasn't proud of it at all. But he feels really, really good about the rest of that series.
अरे डिस्कॉर्ड में मिलते ही
आरुष आएगा ना कल
आरुष क्या खेलता है कुछ नहीं खेलता
अरे गेम सिन देख भाई मेरे पे गेम सिन है पर मेरा गेम कभी-कभी चलता है कभी-कभी मैं थोड़ा ये मैं मेरे को घुस के खेलना पड़ता है मेरा सीधा टेबल नहीं है मेरे को लीन करना पड़ता है
See what they opt to do out of this.
फिर टेबल लेना एक अच्छा
their name as well when we head back.
नहीं रे कितने टेबल है घर में जगह नहीं मेरे पास ये तो घर में कितने टेबल दादी को सामान दो भी इसके तभी में
stage 1 in China. So, Coach Boyers had to pivot them.
कुछ तो जुगाड़ कर गया हमें कहीं सामान का मैं बहुत बार कोई जुगाड़ कर करके आया लाइक करता बुक्स रखने का मेरे माउस के लिए टेबल भी नहीं है
जगह है टेबल है पर उधर एक टेबल है अच्छा पर उधर चेयर नहीं
मांडी डाल के खेलने का लैपटॉप का था
अरे देख मेरे पे एक सेटअप ही अच्छा खासा बड़ा है पर उधर चेयर नहीं और नेट भी नहीं आता स्टडी टेबल है बड़ा मतलब जॉइंट क्लोजेट के साइड में खेल सकता मैं आपको छोड़ना इसमें हमारा खेलने का
जल्दी अपने को बंदे ढूंढने पड़ेंगे कि भाई 2 दिन कर
कल आएंगे वो ओमेन को देखेंगे और वो स्टन देंगे लगी ओमेन देगा भी देखेंगे स्टन ले हक दिया क्या है
Space may be bored here, but Zek is able to scale back in.
हक दिया सबने
XLG are just
a
fertile harvest for
hagne वाले इन लोग
they walk into an A side bereft of defenders.
टेंस करता रहेगा ना
from XLG trying to jiggle out just a
इसका के लिए बहुत नर्फ हुआ है ना
both of those
ब्रीच नर्फ नहीं हुआ ये हुआ तेहो
नहीं पर वो पहले से बहुत ब्रीच नर्फ हुआ है
इसको देख
एड़े को देख ये एड़ा है थोड़ा
बराबर ऐसे खेलने का
still really been existing under the shadow of the success of last year's roster.
नहीं मारता घंटे का मारता
Being asked about TenZ and Saucy.
तो पता लगा
Like, what would Saucy think of this performance? Would TenZ be proud of you? Still, these old legends of the past being brought up compared to the current roster. And I do think, I mentioned the unredeemed at the start of this game, I do think that a lot of fans are still unsure if they're back on board after the disaster in Bangkok. And you could even suggest, like, what would it take to get people back in SEN City?
SEN really have not been able to earn
बहुत
their
इजी थी मेरे खेलने को ही नहीं आता इनका एम भी नहीं है
growing closer to that as
चल अपन खेलने हैं कॉम्पी हाँ चल लाइक
I feel like we're going to be talking about him all game now that he's up to, well, a nice little 13 and 2.
खेलने आके देखने का बोल
Rifles have carried over,
बहुत इजीली मार रहे लोग देखते नहीं
for this half buy. Still so many ultimates to play with.
कितना बजा 12 बज के
I'm surprised even that Rarga hasn't thrown that rifle to someone else and just to
कल ही
use
खेलते हैं ना
overdrive late.
कल ही खेलते हैं नो को देखते हैं
Kind of teased that a little bit early, just how dangerous
क्या ये घुस के क्या फायदा
like
है
this in our home
पीछे
region.
छाया बहुत बड़ी
So far, Sentinels have respected them,
Can waste कर दिया
focused on their own protocols to clear some of these more dangerous parts of the map. Multi-push into market, for example. It's quite clear they are
उनके नर्वस है भाई सेंटिनल
necessary
कितना
amounts
दे
of
इस पे
respect to their opponents. The
इक्की
number
करने
one
वाले
seed
हैं
from China.
इनको
Playing quite passive at the moment. They were waiting out any aggression that
या अकेले भी मार देगा तो
Narrates Prowler reclears. Zelsis just holds down the main. Nightfall is going to come through the site. A second extending through elbow. Second Prowler used to clear all of this out. Make it safe for him to get right into the site, take the space for the team.
I love that.
उनको मार
He
दे दो
reluctantly gave up elbow as the U2 came in wide, but he never
ए
really left.
जेल्स को देख
That's Rarga able to take a clean duel against Bang, who was trying to get through that
अरे
one-way
Zelsis
dark
को
cover.
देख
Look at Zelsis on
अरे
absolute
रोटेट हो गया रोटेट
flank.
ले
Just chilling in B.
भाई
3-4 को मार देंगे ये
भाई एक को भी नहीं लिया ना जो तो ऐसा मारूंगा ना
Jordan
उसको पता चल गया
into spawn he goes. Coking up with only a sheriff.
दिल्ली जाओ भाई
इसको कैसे पता चल गया
टाइम
Zelsis could be somewhere close by.
Time.
It's not that close. Cyber cage there for Zelsis. He might have to play around that neural theft. Also,
Time.
John holding it down in mid, but time is short. They've got to get John out of
अरे
here.
टाइम नहीं है
And he's
यार
brought down by Mini. Zelsis would have to try and salvage. He needs to find Raga, but he's run off.
भाग
There's
जाओ
no chance for Sen in this round.
He's just on the run with the movement. Catching off the spike in mid. John was operating.
जॉन मिड क्यों आया भाग के आने
hesitant
चाहिए
to
था ना उसको
cross.
वही ना
And by that time, XLG have already began
क्या?
to rotate towards
पक्का
that
बन रहा है
B
तो
site.
सारी will
And Rarga just
मारे
heads
नहीं
up
गए
play.
स्टेज पे चढ़ के
I'm gonna just run. There's no way that Zelsis can get this
चढ़ेंगे
man
और
down in
अगला
time.
राउंड
ये दोनों को मार
दो को
दिया
कैसा लिया
One of the only two
कुछ भी
options
अंदर धंधी
around
अंदर
by
धंधी
XLG. And there was a ton of utility.
इधर नहीं मारना था ये नहीं मारना था
Relay ball, there was a Prowler. He hung around in the dark cover and then found a bizarre moment just to spring back in.
That instant snap
ये
onto
round
the
था ना
second
वोमेन का टीपी सच्ची नहीं
milliseconds
समझता भाई वोमेन
before
का
getting
टीपी
traded out.
मारा
Same from Heavyweight.
देना ब्लाइंड हम लोग के प्लेयर्स ब्लाइंड में भी देते
Pinged out though, they've
याद
heard.
रख
Coconut by no means is committed here, but look at XLG fighting for mid. They've got Raga up there in the middle as well. Paranoia back to goes around a bit of a time in. Then XLG are ready for. One by one they crumble. Middy's able to get 2 on the round, but Hathaway's going to fight for his damn life. And I'm sorry, are we not interested in the extremities of the map anymore?
SEN are just winning so many of these crucial duels. Everyone from XLG swinging out, but it's awkward when there aren't really eyes on tiles. Those players in market did not have the angle for a close peek. And so this is just free for Bang.
Yeah, he's ahead of the paranoia that Coconut throws out. They don't expect it to be so far forward. And he's there like a second or so early.
Right there. SEN have consistently kept the economy broken for XLG. Second feigning some presence towards A main. Popping that fast lane, jumping about.
देख उन लोग लगे भी पे देख ये येड़े लोग हैं अपने जैसे चाहिए येड़े बहुत रीड करने के लिए ऐसे कैसे खेल रहे हैं देख
Him to B main, break the cam. They want to accelerate off the back of this. There's no one to really anchor here for XLG. Maybe Middy can hit another lucky headshot with a Sheriff through smoke, but it does not seem likely at all.
I mean, also
got this rolling thunder to punish a potential flood back into
the flash red flash red
Al drone Deck wants to get ahead of it. This is a little bit dangerous. He's able to back off the line. Here comes a rolling thunder. Narrate trying to get to a safer spot. Taken down over towards Marker was where the thunder went. And XLG now with these Sheriffs recovered. Raga still working with it. Narrow with a shorty. Flat. Raga gets on out there, but Bang steps up for three.
Bang BCS Marcel.
Sideline cut off. No step to the side.
BCS the is the अरे कुछ बार
SEN have done an excellent job at stopping XLG
in
the choke point where they're trying to get back into the site. That Hunter's Fury just did not net any value. Bang steadfast. Some attention being drawn away. Narrate fighting close to. Really well done. XLG had no opportunity to get in on these retake attempts.
An opportunity here. They got Raga over at the A side.
China team को मार गया लेकिन इन लोग
Wolves और बिली इससे बेस्ट थे भाई
Standard one way dark
cover. अरे इससे बेस्ट है
He sees the omen.
इन लोग Sentinels घुस के खेल रही है.
Sentinels execute in here. There are 2 kill trips that Hathaway wants to play off. Aftershock across to back. Sight has a great cam for retake potential.
भाई देख इन लोग सीधा रोटेट कर रहे हैं. सीधा रोटेट कर रहे हैं अपने अपने से खेल रहे हैं. अपने से खेल रहे हैं लोग. रोटेट कर रहे हैं सीधा देख उन लोग.
Oh, this Middy. Second at least knows Middy's up in mid. Have to assume that Raga is close by. They know they haven't grabbed because that trap wire is still intact. This timing is important. Now they know Raga has pushed up tiles. Bang went for info himself. They don't have to make a decision. Back to B seems to be the call.
Like this from XLG, they get that pick and they immediately get out of dodge. Clay for this retake. Sentinels, they want to opt to get into a B split. Again, the trip wire is going to be very dangerous. Hathaway wants to angle backside. Raga can get into mid. Videk has already gone to work on the defenders. There's Raga turning up. Found a moment to get top mid.
Jordan है भाई. अरे जीत गया रे.
नियॉन ने बेटर है नियॉन
उनका. Russian duelist.
अरे जाड़ा अच्छा खेल रहा है. जाड़ा
अच्छा नहीं खेल रहा बेटर है.
Throwing in some proactivity.
पीछे बैठ के खेल रहा हूँ.
इंटर कैसे लिया देखा नियॉन ने.
भाई क्या स्टन बिन देख. अपने टीम मत ये देख अच्छा खेल रहा है. ये देख किधर से दे रहा. आई जो. ये दाढ़ी बड़ी किधर से आ रही इसकी. मुझे कुछ कहा. डुक्कर.
XLG can definitely hang, but they've got a bit of a deficit to work on now.
ये किस टाइम पे?
Definitely in a position to buy for this round at least.
किधर से ढूंढते हुए लोग.
This time they show a little bit towards A, where XLG characteristically make use of Raga.
ऊपर देखे ला उसने टेंट पे. टेंट के पास देखे. कोने में देखे ला उसने कोने. दो देखो वो वन वे से आ रहा है उसको फट रही नहीं वो देख फट रही नहीं लिटरली
punished for his aggression, his recklessness even.
Doesn't really feel like XLG.
नहीं गया rotate हो गया रीड आ गया इन लोग
भी मार सकते हैं भी नहीं मार रहा
opt to just take her time. Still a minute on the clock. No reason to force things. Again, dark cover just used to obscure.
ऐसा खेलने का है मेरे को मेरे भाई कुछ भी
tight angle connects the headshot. And now double up backside midi.
इसको जकन को देख
Ready to defend. Look at the insert from Zekin.
Coconut इसका बर्थडे आज Coconut का
Door closed over towards market side.
थोड़ा सा
There's an easy kill. Back as well. Now you can refresh the one way. Paranoia comes in. Sen can't really afford to respect that. They've got to go for it. Zekin doubles back and makes the ult.
उसको मालूम भी नहीं
That gummed up the works. Now
क्या
Sheriff
इन लोग का
and proper
क्या
rifle
खेलते
for
हैं इन लोग
XLG.
कोऑर्डिनेशन
Is
बात
waiting
है
again at box.
They want to swing on the spike is
बैठ
going
गया
to
इधर
can't connect. Neither can the XLG
अरे
players.
बढ़िया है तो
Going to force him right into the fault line. Second in danger.
It's bang though. That's really
भाई डॉस
Paramedic
डॉस
stun.
फ्लैश कर रहा
Apparently the fault line is.
स्टन में डाल डॉस
And this is more time. Narrate's now been able to join the rest of Sentinels. Sheila Gaming.
स्टन में डाल फ्लैश
Fever here trying to shut down his way on out. Bang! Caught by that one.
वो देख
A whole 46 points of health stripped off of him, and now it's down to Narrate and Zekin.
मार दे सेकंड क्या मार रहा वन
Who's
टैप
just
दे रहा
too sharp. 3 for the round, and Happy Way, as brilliant as he's
दिया
been,
था मर गया
he's going to have to bring a world-beating performance to deal with this. Got their positioning broken.
This is no problem.
5 health for Happy Way. Narrate needs to get in here, and he should be able to finish the job. Sentinels keep it a 5-round lead.
Who's but a moment away from being able to get a shot off with that Phantom. Perfect timing from Narrate. Zekin is simply inexorable on this map. 20 for 6. We're still in the first half. What's going on? He is unreal right now. And there was a little timing mishap from XLG that was Midi's undoing. An attempt from Viva to throw up the recon so the player on site would have to turn, look at it.
That was good.
But Midi swung just a
Actually, इन लोग का
moment
coach
before it actually connected to the wall. Was
Alex
fired
कैसा
off.
PRX का
We've got to contrast this with the starts for Sentinels in their last 2 games, Wyatt. They started slow. When questioned about it, Cameron said different each time, the reasoning for it. He really felt it was important that the boys were energetic for the first map, for the first showing on stage.
उनका साइफर देखना
Looks like
लग
today,
पे ही
whatever
रहता है
they've done
जैसे अपने को भी
differently
वैसे ही
has
खेलना
worked.
पड़ेगा
Highest contrast is the Wolves
खेलने
game
लगे
where
अपन
Sen
वैसा
simply
गोल्ड लॉबी
dominate
तेरे को क्या
any
लगता
duels. They're winning
सीधा
the couple
घुसते
right now.
टाइम पास
Second.
करते और एम तो करते रहता है एम स्मर्फ आते खत्म हो गया
Control of mid, dark cover, so they have safety on the cross. Trip is going to get this information for Happy Way.
Top mid play.
I mean, he just might want to swing. Yeah, this Trip would have to be broken though. That'll give up the game. Second wants to go through. He wants to split this B side from 3 angles.
Relay ball doesn't connect on anyone. He's
अरे
not.
भाई
Not ready for
अरे
Happy
भाग
Way to
दिया
be
काई
tucked in on that
को
corner.
इशारी
Cosmetic stun if I've ever
थ्रो
seen one.
करते
Rogo wants to
करते
get
इन
into
लोग
backside.
क्या
He wants
प्रॉब्लम
to
है
anchor
समझ
Happy
में
Way.
अच्छी टीम का
Duo, the 2
इन लोग
stars
थ्रो
of XLG,
करते
the
हैं
best
मतलब
aimers here to anchor.
Oh, okay,
हो
that's
गया
good. Happy
जल्दी
Way
से
at least able to make the trade.
इसका
Normally
देखो
Ragas
भाई
used to being set up by Happy Way, but
इसको
here they're going to
देखो
have to go on
भागा
solo. Delta's
भागा
around the cyber cage. Narrate was able to get bought tight and push up the right. And he is a multi. Swings
मार
it in theory
चल
coming
जॉन
out
ब्यूटी
from
नरेट
Marcus, but they
नरेट
don't
निकाल
respect John's position. Even in numbers, Mini though has to
Nice,
step
Narek.
up to the stage. And it's a big
यार कुछ भी
doesn't fall far
भागा
on the tree. In
जॉन
fact,
क्यों
right on
क्या
the noggin of John. It's a Red Bull clutch for XLG
जॉन
in
क्यों
the
क्या
half.
The trade attempts are going completely awry for
Don't
XLG,
do
but
that.
Coconut clutches up to get them 4 on the board. As you mentioned, Sentinels here getting the exact contrast
Don't
of
do
the
that,
beginning
yeah.
against the other 2 teams from China. They are white hot. Second is looking like an easy MVP shot for this map.
Good start, yes, but it's about how you close here in Mars.
John Beauty का एक भी गोल नहीं
The
लगा
second
उसको।
half of Sunset coming at you on the other side of this quick break.
गेम ऐसे बीच में ऐसे कैसे हो जाता है एक गोली भी नहीं लगता है
स्विच पे देखना ये एडी स्विच पे आगे चलता
स्विच पे आगे चलता है
हाँ
ये लैपटॉप ले ना ये वाला लैपटॉप
ये वुमेन 16 भाई को है अच्छा मेरे
कितने गए
रहेगा 1.5 तो रहेगा 1.5 टेंस कर रहा देख टेंस लाइव स्ट्रीम कर रहा
इसका बहुत लो है भाई क्वालिटी बिलिटी
ए 1080
बहुत तो वैसे
बराबर है।
रेडा है
मैं 1080 काफी है मेरे को 4K जाएगा
Flex your rank. NBA needs a name at least.
Here's a Coinbase econ report coming
defending,
in the second
defending
half of the Sunset, and there is a number there that is very large and definitely bears talking about. Remember, this econ rating is a measure of how much damage you're able to get out of the credits that you spend. Zekken, of course, only dying 7 times, getting 20 kills, is obviously going to do well here.
I think what's actually most interesting is the fact that Raga and Happyway, their numbers are actually very high, despite not being able to get a ton of kills. That's because SEN were constantly putting them on the eco, so they weren't actually spending a ton of money throughout the half. Just completely controlled by SEN. You look at the timeline, XLG, they're just getting 1 round win every couple, then broken economy again.
We're going to check in with XLG. Who have been called upon by the whole region to stand in the way of the Sentinel struggle. So far, has picked and been picked by only Chinese rosters. Every single time Sentinel had to adjust coming into a series. Slow starts for the BLG and Wolves games. This one, though, looks like Senna focused on their own game. Let's see if Raga, though, can get into the works and show some of his mastery.
Let's go quick, hides in the dark cover for but a moment, and then a double peek out with Coconut. Going to wire that orb. As the rest of the team sort of passively watch towards mid, wanting to ensure that no one from Sentinels is getting too active, that they're not trying to throw an early haymaker at them. As the second half begins, Shock Dart to break a potential trip, but it's not there. To break another potential trip in market, that's also not there. It's just a cam watching, which Raga will delete.
But I like this early round activity for XLG, just trying to take this Sentinel util off the map.
Look at this on the opposite side of the map. Happyway he's in the B site while the team is trying to execute onto A.
I don't know if Celsius is aware. Oh, he's not! Happyway's able to get the jump on him, and now quick pivot back as you would expect. This guy, he's been the star so far for XLG. Previously, you know, considered a brilliant but often overlooked player in Raga's shadow. Happyway's really taken to this debut on stage.
And now it's actually Raga who's left in this lurk position. Trip is going to have to be broken by Narrate. Just aware that he has some opportunities to take tools against players. Spike goes down, planted for B main on the stairs.
Zekken hoping an opportunity might present itself, but XLG disciplined in this post plant.
Yeah, Midi has a full kit to play with in this post plant. Just ready in B main with the stun.
Aftershock already getting drawn out now. Relay bolt throw on the side of Happyway, the one who set things up. But all of a sudden, Sentinel's back in with numbers. Midi trying to hold it down. Has 2 flashes to work with, and Raga tucked to his left. Surely he can do something with this, but instead, Narrate just ruins it. John taken down through the smoke. Bangers on the defuse. He found the timing, and Raga's arrived. Red Bull clutching the pistol to close the gap.
He's just like that, so late coming back to the
side.
Into a horrific position because the team were just failing to win duels against Sen, spilling back in from Boba. Midi
अभी interesting हो रहा है, देखना पड़ेगा.
Through with a bayonet.
Round pickup for XLG.
कुछ भी होता है कभी.
There are some smiles too.
Slide था रे, चुपते नहीं होने वाले.
Close one though. Sentinels really in a commanding position before Raga got to them. Fault line player finding a little swing here. Fever at least though not stunned up enough to prevent him from letting loose these balls with the Spectre. Sentinels feed themselves into the wood chipper. Making for awful good fertilizer out there in LA.
अरे भाई.
It was a wave of utility, a nice trap setup from Sen, but simply not the weaponry to capitalize off of that effort. Zelsis all alone and with little to no hope at this point. XLG do a great job absorbing those swings. Even stunned up, dealing with Zekin, who was sliding his way in there, creating space so the follow-up swings could arrive.
स्ट्रीम में कुछ तो मिलता है रे वैलोरेंट का ड्रॉप मिलता है रिवॉर्ड्स मिलते हैं हां
exactly what XLG need to get back into this half. They know the right back in the mix.
on drops बोला है
तारिक को
Zelsis trying to get busy.
तारिक भी आएगा
trying to get a little extra cash from the bundle.
Listen, it's about
इधर लिखा है
maximizing
your
recovery out there.
Min-maxing the classic 1v5 for sure. Respect.
वैलोरेंट के इसमें मिल जाएंगे
So Sentinels trying to go for the gambit into B main here, but the ball line is not really enough to give them the edge.
watch to earn drops view details
opportunity.
ये देख
पे करेंगे
Avert your eyes, Cuban, if you're squeamish.
एक नहीं ये कोई नहीं सकता
Prime opportunity here for a bonus round pickup from XLG. This buy is pretty solid. Upgraded rifle, standard first recon to its elbow. Broken, however, and Raga wants to slow down.
फैम टाइटल वगैरह मिलेंगे अरे गेम
Remember how long? Sees what he needs to at that shoulder peak. Online comes in and Raga tries to soar into the side, but Narrate clips his wings.
What a sick off angle from Narrate.
That was lovely.
Tense question.
Bang was hoping to set up a crossfire with him. It's still a possibility. Elsewhere, Happy Way is always a threat. Zelsis has learned his lesson about leaving that
watch and drops.
He just throws down a trip straight up in main, which are pretty easy to break now. You don't have to commit a paint shells or aftershock like you did on the very old version of Sunset. That's going to be taken out by Happy Way, and now Zelsis has to fear a little bit. That camera's going to cover the full cross. The one he's got thrown up in market as XLG, taking the time away from A, working into mid.
Zekin likely going to be in a 1vx scenario in a moment.
Which account connect है इसको?
Happy Way working his way into B.
I like that idea. Let himself be pinged, but the timing doesn't quite line up. Zelsis realizes, yes, yep, Happy Way is here, as always. Able to get the better of him. Winning that individual fight out is huge. And this would be a pretty strong conversion on the buy round for Sentinels getting back into this half. Fever's brought down. 4 rifles carried into round 16.
That's a clean sub. Zekin made a nice rotation. Double face with Zelsis backside of the monsters. My halfway. This high impact kill. The angle that Nere chooses to take there is so unexpected, unorthodox. Because Raga is running forward on the neon, no one has an opportunity to trade that at all. Love the way he plays that. Full buy from XLG. On the line. They are maxed out. They've got all those heavy armors, everything that they need.
That recon bolt not exactly having the intended effect.
Pretty similar open for the Chinese side, leaving Happy Way over towards B main. They work towards A early. And they love to double back and just apply some pressure mid. This time they're inserting Coconut into elbow, but it looks like Sentinels want to go for the re-clear. The Prowler does connect. They don't want to over-push this.
This mid-pivot for Sentinels is probably expected, but maybe a little earlier than otherwise. They didn't think it would come.
Look at how futile they just threw at Coconut to get him out of there. Aftershock, multiple Prowlers.
Raga spotted down early. Relay bolt thrown to at least give Zekin a safe retreat. Narrate here.
किधर से करते? इधर ही आता है कनेक्ट ऑप्शन आता है. Use drop inventory, paste to monitor reverse process or status.
Really declawed XLG with that pick off on the neon. Viva very patient on this line, but Zelsis doesn't give him enough leg to make use of.
करना फिर चाहिए बुरा थोड़ी है
10% हुआ है
किसका आईडी डाला तू
मेरा मेन आईडी डाला
कौन ये भाई
XLG just getting far too disconnected from each other. Raga running all the way up through mid. Narrate is coming up in these rounds. I was talking about in the press conference the other day that back when Sentinels had that tragic showing at Bangkok early in the year, he was so focused on his individual play. And it makes sense. When he was in EU, he was much more of a star with K-Corp. But on SEN, realizing his time has gone on, he just needs to support everyone else. But he still picks his moments. He still wants to find the moments to step up, but he's not forcing it.
He always talks about how stronger the voices are on this Sentinels team. Finding your niche a bit harder. It's going to be a fast hit over towards the A side of the map, though. Wide second already on the line. Raga chunked down to 10. John is able to finish the job. The classic 1-2 punch. As the outlaw rings out, it's narrate again. Always in an awkward spot.
All of XLG now just stuck in elbow. The entire Sentinels team here. You can always expect Zekken to have the outlaw on hand on one of these rounds where the opposing team has a depleted economy.
Happyway can only do this for so long. He still needs to help Midi get into the site. There is none of that breach util for the attackers to play off of, and only 2 stingers. And a team on defense that is respecting them enough to hold these lines, not good chasing kills.
Midi is just hoping that someone may overextend and push into elbow, but it's simply not going to be the case. The hope for XLG is going to be this next round, the full buy, where they have both initiator ultimates to work with. However, it's likely going to be the exact same case for SEN. Midi dealt with Happyway. Now spotted out. It's only a matter of time for him. John would love to get involved, and that's going to get him the Rolling Thunder. Next round is going to be explosive.
And to be clear, this of course is XLG's map pick. It's a map that we don't really see anything of the player, and have just started to see Sentinels pick this map themselves after banning it in their first game in Toronto.
That was a ridiculous first kill from John. Just spam through the box and caught a headshot on Raga. That is tough.
Not the first time it's happened in this game. On the attack side, and Raga was walking up for a swing in that same position. Timeout called here by XLG. You can see some frustration starting to bubble forth from Havoya. Realizing that, yes, Lotus is a great map for XLG. It's one that SEN are happy to pick into them. They're really hoping to show us a little bit more in the sunset. So far, it's been Happyway. Just opening up the map for XLG in the few rounds they've been able to look dominant in.
And that's really touching on one of the criticisms that has been levied against XLG during this run is that they're too reliant on watching at 60K watching. Of course, the team were displaying fantastic team play, great fundamentals, and a consistency that the other teams in the region just weren't. When you think about the volatility of building wolves, their play styles, this is a case of Happy Way the two that are really doing the heavy lifting. We'd love to see the other three get involved. Coconut had that clutch, but it's got to his name really at this point. As we were talking about, there was the last round was this is going to be an explosive round. So many ultimates across the board. The initiator ultimates at that.
Bring them down.
And likely XLG's last chance to get into this game in a real way. Absolutely throwing themselves at this. Harness Fury, Rolling Thunder, Neural Theft. Plenty to work with, especially if you can find an edge on a first kill. A ping on someone with a recon ball. Some work that needs to be done to set up those win conditions for XLG.
Dark cover being thrown down there over on the B side. It seemed like there could be a lurk coming in. Happyway has certainly been happy to do that on his lonesome, but all the players are working towards eBay. Oh my god, barely caught twice on the run. Raga's hungry.
Happyway actually pushed up the left side at the same time. Explosive moment there for XLG. Again, it's Happyway and Raga leading the way.
This is exactly what they needed. They have to worry about Link right now. There's no smoke to cover it up, and Narrate is just happy to get a forward position. This could certainly catch someone off guard.
Right with him, make a correction when he does. God, he's been good here. Trying to back away now. Rolling Thunder comes through for the attack as XLG want to disrupt Sentinels as they make this push out of Link. Timing is everything though. Rolling Thunder. God, they're using all of it as well. That ball expended now by Sentinels. Narrate not quite ready XLG to get up on this line. Good damage went through the wall, and Zelda will come to the rescue. Now, the Fate can keep moving. Raga is here in halls alongside Fever. Try and keep eyes on this. But that fast lane makes it tough, and Raga's chunked down to 8. These next couple of shots, critical for the duelers, so they do get second. But now it's on Viva. 1v2, Zelsa's on the line. Viva down to 20, and that'll do it. They've done enough, Sentinels.
Don't tell me jeetne
Get themselves to that point.
XLG just could not extract enough value out of the Rolling Thunder and the Hunter's Fury combo that they sent out towards Link. Even stoned up. There it was launched into the air. I thought spotted, but spam never came through. Coconut just fully isolated, wrapped by the flanking Zelsis, encircled, dealt with. And then trading things out in the 3v2 are SEN. They are too clean on this map. It was a bold choice for XLG to take them here. Historically, a home for Sentinels since the John Cutie and Zelsis iteration of this team began. And they are as good as ever. This would require a monumental comeback, but second is too good right now.
In a market that would lead to XLG, but now to set up a staging ground. This will leave Zelsis looking a little bit stranded, but do they check this corner? Absolutely not! A freebie for Zelsis here as Raga deals with it, but it's electrifying play from second. Then on a fundamental level, there's not much of a game. Sentinels, a cut above China's #1.
Second just dropping a 20 bomb in the first half of that game. And XLG on the back foot the entire time. They were getting constantly ecoed. They look a bit out of sorts, perhaps a little nervous on their debut, but with Lotus up next, maybe they can bounce back.
401 ACS, 27 kills for Zekin, a masterclass on Sunset. We're going to step away with XGB and the Atlas Desk are going to break down our first map of the series.
Nothing yet. अरे तीस मिनट देख के जाते ना वो एप्रेस का नया माउस है वो में
क्या बोला
ग्राम्स का तो मेरे को बहुत
100 ग्राम का क्रियोस किया रे
हो गया अभी तक मेरी सेंसी मिली नहीं रही
Red Bull gives you wings.
Hey. Let me show you how to fuck stuff. Oh man, I was just getting warmed up.
सीरियस खेलने का बोरिंग मत खेल मैं ड्यूलिस्ट खेलेंगे सब ड्यूलिस्ट खेलेंगे अच्छा खेलेंगे
अरे टीममेट सीखना है पहले कैसे
टीममेट ढूंढेंगे आपको फाइट अभी खेलेंगे
वही ना कल पैसे हो जाएगा कल आएंगे ना कल जल्दी आओ
क्या बोल रहा
वो स्क्वाड ही नहीं आता जल्दी
वो यार ये बोल रहा बंदे ढूंढते हैं
खेलने भी नहीं आता उस पे एम नहीं है
एम ही नहीं है उस पे पहली बात कोई मैं बोल तो रहा हूँ तेरे अभी किसके साथ देगा मैच PRX के साथ होगा सेंटिनल जीत तो यार ओए मैं क्या बोल रहा है हेलो
बोल
हम सेंटिनल जीते तो किसके साथ जाएंगे
क्या है भाई ये क्या करते हैं भाई
लेकर आ रहा है
रुक ना मेरा एमला भी डाउनलोड बता
लैप्स का अरे है सर GTA RP खेलने का मन था मेरा कोई नहीं
गुजरात का भाई क्या क्रैश करते भाई क्या ये क्या है भाई कर रहे क्या लोग कुछ तो
वो
रहेगा
सेंसी
सेटिंग
चेंज करने का रे सेंसी एक मेरे को हाई सेंसी चाहिए
सुना तू वाचे के बारे में
हाँ देखा ना प्लेन के ना
कैसे भाई हो ही नहीं सकता इसे भाई
एक
ऊपर
लग रहा है ना
नीचे हो ही नहीं सकता
हाँ
सेटिंग ही है कुछ तो
सेटिंग
अरे
लोगों
बोल
को
रहे थे ना
मरवाने के लिए
वो ब्लैक
और
बॉक्स
मोदी
गायब हो
जी
गया
कभी
उसका
आता नहीं मोदी जी आया उधर देखा तू
ये एरोप्लेन में ब्लैक बॉक्स रहता ना
हाँ हाँ
वो भी गायब हुआ हॉस्टल के उतरने से ही पहले
सब सेटिंग है इसको तो मरवाने का था उसमें अरे एक तो पूरी
उसमें
फैमिली
चीफ
गई भी
मिनिस्टर भी
बच्चे
था अरे
बच्चे
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 वाली भाई
उसकी पूरी फैमिली
दो
गई
बच्चे और एक लड़की भाई
नया वो लोग सेटल करके आए थे लंदन जाने वाले थे बिजनेस सब सेट
मालूम
हाँ कसम है बोल रहे क्या हो जाता है कर जाता है का ही है गड़बड़े सब
मोदी मोदी भी काय को रखे बुड्ढे को चाहता क्या और
पढ़ा भी नहीं
राहुल गांधी बेटर लगता अभी लोगों को
हाँ ना
कभी आएगा अभी नेक्स्ट मैच चालू 10 मिनट 5 मिनट
चल गया मतलब डाला है भाई अपडेट को मतलब
मेरे को आधा घंटा लगेगा डाउनलोड करने
4 GB का अपडेट एमलेस में क्या है
तेरा कितना एमबी
अपना एम कैसा होना चाहिए मालूम है क्या मतलब एम कभी भी अपन खेले ना कुछ भी एम नहीं हिलना चाहिए कुछ भी एजेंट खेलो हर मैच अपना मतलब 100% होना चाहिए ऐसा अपने को बनने का
अपन के कैसे मालूम है मैं बताता अपन सब एक मैच हारे मूड ऑफ बात खत्म होता है
वही तो बोल
अभी एम लैब चालू करूंगा गान मारूंगा चलो उधर पता चलता ना ये रेंज में क्या उधर उधर बंदा डॉट डॉट से है अपने कम
अपने से भी हेड मारने गए अरे वर्नो मालूम है कि बिहार वाला वर्नो
मालूम
इंजरी में उसका हेड मारता सही हेड इस जिले में
बहुत
आता भी हूँ उसका मूवमेंट बहुत मतलब उसने वो बहुत मास्टर किया हो गेम ऐसा लगता है मेरे को उसको सब मतलब मसल मेमोरी उसका हो उसका तू देख भाई वन टैप देने का ट्राई करता कभी भी नाइफ निकलती सीधा वन टैप देने के बाद
देख ठीक है अपने से एम मत चलाओ थोड़ा एम चलाओ गेम से 0 है दोनों का गेम से ये दो अब भाई वो प्लेटो मैं बोलता ना मेरे साथ अभी एम से
मेरे को एक भी पता है कि क्या बने हुए अभी हाई रैंक में लो रैंक में खेलने लगे ना अपना गेम चला जाता है गेम प्ले भी चला जाता है
तो कल अभी तेरा कौन सा
डायमंड
अमिता यस्या तू
हाँ 1 वीक हो गया रहेंगे
बिल्कुल कल अभी देखना
किलोवा से आऊँ ना डायमंड वाले से ना
ए डायमंड वाले से बात खेल ही नहीं पाएंगे
अरे मालूम है ऐसा लोअर किया ना
अरे पर प्लस माइनस नहीं होता ज्यादा इसलिए बोला
प्लस माइनस में नहीं मतलब हार्ड बंदे आएंगे ना तो बंदे तैयार होते मैं वो डायमंड जाके मेरा एम ऐसा गोल्ड के साथ खेलने लगा ना मेरे को खेलने को ही नहीं जम रहा क्या पता वो गेम प्ले हो गया ना ऐसे एम गेम प्ले गोल्ड वाले कैम कर रहे रन गन कर रहे ये वो लोटस है रेस गेम भी दिखने वाला है टेढ़ा मत करना
ए भाई सेंटेंस का रेस ये अच्छा है और लोटस का
क्या अरे जेकन नहीं खेलता अच्छा खेलता है
खेलता ना अच्छा
एनजी को कैसे रुलाया था जेकन ने रेस से
मालूम टेंस ने भी कितना रुलाया था रे टेंस ने टीएच को बार रुला दिया था
टेन तो डायलॉग मारा था वो
अपने इधर देख आरुष पे एम है गेम सेंस नहीं पर स्पॉडी पे दोनों नहीं है
एम भी नहीं आरुष ने खेलना बंद किया तो उसका एम भी चला गया
सुन ना वो स्पॉडी उस दिन देखा मैं सनसेट पे क्या स्मोक दे रहा और गैप छूट रहा लिटरली
सब स्मोक को ऐसे करता है सब स्मोक को ऐसे करता है
और ब्लाइंड खुद को देगा
मेरे को ब्लाइंड दे दिया भाई ने 2-3 बार
तू लाइव स्ट्रीम नहीं करता?
करता ना.
क्या है तेरे चैनल का नाम?
ये करूँगा. वही था पहले का ही.
चैनल नहीं है मेरे पास. ये नहीं
नहीं कुछ सबको दिया था. सब्सक्राइब नहीं किए तुम लोग ने.
बीच खेला है तेरे को सर्च भी खेला ना.
क्या सर्च भी किया? अभी कल देता है. कल सुबह लाइव स्ट्रीम करेंगे.
नाम देना ये नाम क्या है नाम?
ये ना है. दो चैनल है रे.
क्या था? YH क्या था? व्याचार लास्ट कब क्या था लाइव स्ट्रीम?
हुआ. अरे ब्लीच का विलन है डेंजर वाला. वो फ्यूचर
किसको
जो चैनल का नाम रखा था वो तो क्या बोले उच्चा बच्चा नहीं. युवा बा
क्या था लाइव स्ट्रीम? 4 महीने पहले क्या था लाइव स्ट्रीम?
अभी कर रहा हूँ लाइव में. क्या है
तू गाली दे ले लाइव स्ट्रीम पे.
कंटेंट करने का अपने को. तेरा भी वीडियो डाले अपन ये वीडियो देखा तू? तेरा भी वॉइस वीडियो
किधर है तू? अरे भेज तो लिंक येड़े.
कितना भेज रहा है मुझे?
इतना सीरियस खेलता तू?
मॉन्टाज देखना तू वीडियो. ये भी लाइव है. डिस्कॉर्ड भी भेजिए.
इधर ही भेजना. डिस्कॉर्ड क्या है?
भेज रहा है.
तू गाली देता है इस पे लाइव स्ट्रीम पे देता है ना? कोई गाली देता?
मॉन्टाज देखिए. मॉन्टाज
किधर है तेरे मॉन्टेजेस?
लाइव में मॉन्टाज भी. शॉर्ट्स भी डालना चालू किया है. शॉर्ट्स पे व्यूज आ रहे हैं.
क्या शॉट मारता रे? मेरे सामने लड़ने जैसा खेलता.
दूसरे क्या ऐसे मजा नहीं आता रे. सीरियस खेलना चाहिए.
क्या रे काय को अभी ऐसा ना.
तेरा वाला वीडियो देखना. चिल 25 देखना. चिल 25 देखना.
मेरा वीडियो चिल 25?
अरे दूसरा वीडियो नया वाला मत देख. तेरा मॉन्टाज देख. उसके न्यूज़ पहले वाला
किधर है? अरे मॉन्टेजेस नहीं दिख रहे मेरे.
अरे वीडियोस में जाना.
वीडियोस नहीं है तेरी इसमें?
ये बड़ा वीडियो है क्या तेरे को? क्या
नया अच्छा नया आईडी पे ये आईडी.
डिस्कॉर्ड पे भेजा है तेरे को डीएम.
चिल
25
मैं है क्या चिल?
तेरा वॉइस है ना.
अच्छा मैं हूँ. याद है. अरे पीसी लैग काहे मार रहा है इतना? ओ भाई
तेरा आवाज आता देख.
नाम कैसे रखेला तूने? नाम कैसे रखेला?
फेक नहीं है. रियल नेम थोड़ी लगे. घर में जो बुलाते प्यार से.
छीवा आरुष का आवाज देख. आरुष का आवाज.
हाँ देखा.
तिकडे से फ्रीजर.
तू भी बोलता है ना. देख ना हंसते बिकता. 6 महीने 6 महीना पीसी मेरा बंद हो गया था. गुस्सा आ रहा था मुझे. चलो जरूर अच्छा.
When we're thinking about those XZ days, just the other day, I guess purely built.
एक सेकंड आया. रहना इधर.
एडी तू वेलियमेंट करने का ना. क्या होगा वेलिया?
हेलो आवाज आ रहा है
हंसने का आवाज आई जबली शॉट रे
सेंटिनल क्या आ गई क्या पिस्टल राउंड आ रही नहीं ना नहीं
येडे अपन कैसा हंसते रे आष्टा येडे
क्या आता है पूरा ऑल टाइम कंटेंट क्रिएटर जैसा बना हुआ है डॉग्स विक्स
ये किसका आईडी से बना तू एक दिन पहले
आरुष के आईडी से खेल रहा था ना टिप्स निकला थोड़ा
कांड मार दी थी क्या
3-4 बार 4K मार
सेटअप चेंज किया तू
चेंज किया
1 HP हां
1 HP मारता हूं
1 HP हां
उसका गन लेना चाहिए था
1v5 हाँ 1v5 अरे कल गाना मारेंगे कल सच्ची गाना मारेंगे गुस्सा आ रहा है मेरे को ऐसे लग रहा है अभी पी लो अभी किसको
खेलने मन कर रहा हूँ
येड़ा ये जेट किधर देख रहा येड़ा वीड़ा के जेट तू मुड़ पर तू इतना ट्राई करता कॉम्पी में
ट्राई किया
मतलब एकदम सीरियसली खेलता
कोई नहीं रहेगा तो सीरियस ही खेलता दोस्त रख लगेगा तो थ्रो ही होता है खेलने में नहीं मिलता मजाक करने का ही मजा भाई हंसी मस्ती का भाई जाते रहो पहले खेलता तो वही बस गंदा मारता सामने वाले से तो बोलते स्मार्ट फैन
चाट खेलने नहीं आता तो क्या अपन क्या करने का ये इधर आवाज नहीं आ रहा गेम का आवाज नहीं आ रहा तेरे इसमें
XLG get off to a good start on this attack side. SEN elected to start on defense here.
Happy to collect a couple kills over to their initiators, but as far as early ultimates go, it's Zelsis close to that Steel Garden.
Save round.
Easy little right click to open things up here.
Let's go, we win pistol, bro, let's go. Hype.
Let's go.
Locking in, getting excited. Rarga has the vandal into this round. See if he can do something with it. Early recon to get out into rubble. Second wants to escape the baby door. Pick up a bit of a safer angle after that pressure comes through.
He immediately bailed. I think seeing the fast lane made him feel like he was not well equipped to take that fight head on.
ये भाई थर्ड में मत जान दो भाई इज्जत जाएंगी भाई
Important round to convert on for Sentinels. Great start. Look at that pop out of B, and there's two players sat on that line. Coconut and Happyway out of the game. Once again, another player doubles off the line. Bank gets out, realizes that Raga's coming for him now too.
I'm sure XLG wanted to be, but realize they just have to get into A fast after all that. Fighting occurs in main. A lot of damage done to Narrate in second. Perhaps if they had real weapons, those would have just been straight up kills, but maybe the low HP could be enough for XLG to get back into this.
Sees in towards Pip, that is definitely going to catch on the midi, decaying him down, holding in place, and so Viva gets overwhelmed. No chance for midi to try and trade there from lower Pip. Going to have to be a fast play now here from Sentinels, and when midi tries to jump off the works, it's Raga dealt with. Sentinels give XLG just enough rope to trip themselves within that round, giving some space, waiting to double or triple up. Very nicely handled, that pace coming in from the attackers.
There are multiple players stunned up. And that fall line comes through for Midi, for Viva to try and swing off of here. Look at that. 3 of them, in fact. Really hoping there'd be maybe 2 players up there. Certainly not 4. So one of them is able to get out of the way of that fall line.
And honestly, Sen with such a clean play into the XLG bonus. Have pretty even footing now into this round number 4. Still guarded, developed by Zelsis, someone you mentioned was pivotal on this map and their run to playoffs. Already been showing a little bit of that magic.
As soon as he picked up the Vice, back in kickoff for the run to qualify for Bangkok, Zelsis was putting up some of the most impressive maps we have ever seen from him. Statistically speaking, it was Lotus, it was Vice, Morga making his presence known. XLG do a good job of getting this wall procced very early into the round. Not able to deal with the thorns that are littered across that C site. At the very least, that will keep Zelsis feeling threatened as things progress.
We've seen how hard it is to sort of trigger that wall without, like, your with these neon comps. You do risk that little shoulder peek out on the scene. Now it's time for SLG to double back and return. Razorvine caught Raga briefly. He'll be able to regen up some of that shield to get on the side. Once again, Sen are going to allow for this, Wyatt. They want the full retake behind. They're still guarding.
It's going to be ripped right now. Vargas pressed up very far forward, and with these weak weapons, it's just all too easy.
John and Zelsis combined for 4. Finally, Midi will have access to his weapon, but not before Narrate cuts into the quick. Sentinels very quickly drop pistol. They have evened up the game.
Outrageous value from the early Steel Garden that Zelsis got access to.
सुबह बोल रहा था ना मेरे अल्ट पे मारो इसको सो याद कर
क्या बोल
अरे सुबह बोल रहा था ना तो सोवा के अल्ट से मारा उसने बोला मेरे
Always a win condition when you're getting the spike down on the C. They're not able to push far enough to get out of the Steel Garden. They didn't have an opportunity to retreat to a little pocket that was on the edge of halls. Ultimately dealt with so easily as they just have classics in that scenario.
Another valuable defense side round for Sen. They feel like they've worked 2 attack side rounds on this map sometimes. Zekin sees enough. Draws a beat on Coconut with the showstopper, and that's the Omen gone. No more controller util for XLG to get into any of these sites. It means they can't cover off stairs, they can't cover off B upper. They can't smoke for a safe trigger of the shield wall on C either.
Looks like the split at 7-4B is coming. The fault line goes down. Nothing to cut off Heaven. Raga, does he want to push for more? Going to slide across. Trying to get someone to swing off of him. Relay bolt decent. Forces Sen back. Spike down.
But they can't store it. They don't have any dark covers. Rolling Thunder though comes out. XLG hoping to fight with it, but it wasn't really an opportunity. It's in there. Down by Midi Stinger, and then Shorty. Yep, will get the job done. Smoke there over towards that baby door direction. Viva needs to make a decision here. Can he peek on a timing with Happyway? It's awkward with the Marshall to try and get a retake, and now he's going to be revealed essentially by the Prowler. Happyway taking pot shots, but doesn't quite have the accurate spike location. He's not trained on the mark. And that's a defusing Viva looking a little uncomfortable towards the end of the round. He'll get Narrate, but that is 3 in a row from the America squad.
That's simply nothing the XLG IGL could get accomplished, trapped in baby door. Zekin just feeling like, damn, I got my showstopper already. I guess I'll just use it to win this anti-half-buy. Why not? Free little kill to set things up. Lack of smokes when the execute comes through. XLG risk a lot going for the Rolling Thunder to push into spawn, which is essentially nullified just by Bang. Anyhow, on this full buy, early A fight is going to commence. XLG getting out fast. Raga using that lane to get forward. Sen want none of it. They peel back to the site.
Looks like Coconut ulted for some information. Zekin down, that's a duelist out of the way. Happyway leads. It gets aggressive, but Bang's able to spray down through the box. A good TP away, and Narrate picks up the line for him. Again, defensive trading, very, very strong for Sentinels. And they swing around that corner. Bang is handled. Viva, though, low. Sen have given up this A site now.
that John retreats temporarily. Zelsa silently working downstairs, hoping that. Oh my God! What a double face! That's beautiful from XLG.
And that our drone isn't going in John's direction. He is able to slip past it. Coconut though finds it. John knows approximately where the Sova was. But Coconut holds it down while his teammate was in the drone.
There we go. There's some of those good fundamentals that we are calling on XLG to have. Even when that execute is getting scary, chaotic. SEN are doing a nice job fighting backside. There was another great paranoia from Bang. They're able to still double up, fight together, clear out Zelsis, who is silently rapping downstairs. Well played.
Where is Raga? Where is Raga? Quiet game to say the least.
Hasn't been fully needed so far. Some of the slack. Viva has a great round there with a Guardian too. SEN have had a great economy building though, so they're on an easy full buy here.
This time no pomp and circumstance, no fanfare about this A-side take. XLG are allowed to simply walk up.
Stunned up.
He's got to get right across the side, then he's here. Zelsis gets the drop on him. And the Razorbind means that nobody can follow up on the Neon. Oh, God, nobody's looking in that way. Once again, it's the timing that XLG are just not.
वो चेंज नहीं कर सकते अपन, मैं बोला सेटिंग्स में उसको तू अमित है इससे आकर मेरा कौन सा था अमित इससे आना जी क्या हो रहा भाई
fast. Sentinels making a good decision, good read on this round to pivot that Zelsis utility setup over to A. Everything there. And XLG just rush things right past the shear wall. It cuts off any help for Raga, who's further kept at bay as the Thorns are on the ground. I believe there was an additional flash.